Welcome everybody to Joe Knowles Field. We are about ready to kick off the football season, the first home game here at South Kitsap High School, and we'd like to welcome everybody tonight here in Kitsap County. As far as Wave Broadband broadcasts, and welcome to SKTV Channel 205, as we are about to listen to the South Kitsap High School Marching Band, led by Mr. Gary Grahams, play the national anthem.
As the colors are presented, please let us take a moment and reflect on those lives that were lost 10 years ago this Sunday, and let us remain ever vigilant as we strive to protect our freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, presentation of the colors. Tonight's national anthem will be conducted by Senior Drum Major Jennifer Weaver, Junior Drum Major C.C. Boyd, and Field Marshal Samantha Wright. Please join the South Kitsap Band under the direction of Gary Grahams in our national anthem. Please remain standing until the colors have cleared the field.
That was the South Kitsap High School Marching Band with the Star Spangled Banner, as we have the South Kitsap High School NJROTC exiting the field here tonight at Joe Knowles Field on the campus of South Kitsap High School. And we're getting ready here to have our first kickoff of the season at the home opener for the South Kitsap Wolves. We would like to welcome everybody here to South Kitsap High School in this home opener for the South Kitsap Wolves. We're happy to be coming to you live tonight, this evening on SKTV, Wave Digital Broadband, Cable Channel Access 205, as tonight the Wolves take on the Tahoma Bears. I'm Darren Bowden. And joining me in the booth tonight is South Kitsap High School legend, Mr. Jim Fairweather. Jim, thanks for joining us here in the booth tonight.
Hey, it's my pleasure. It's really kind of fun to do this. Done a little research on the Bears, having coached against them last year, and in a really tough loss for us. We're hoping to rebound this year and do a little bit better.
Now, Jim, the Wolves started off with a nice victory last week up in Vancouver, BC, with a 24-21 victory. What kind of game should we expect here tonight from both sides?
Well, I think you're going to see a little similar action to what you had last week. Both teams are kind of trying out some new kids and some new positions, and so they're feeling their way through it. But I think with South, you got a little bit more of the older kids on the field, and so that experience we're thinking will probably pay off for the Wolves. I know that the Bears are starting a brand new quarterback at the helm for them. His name is Shane Nelson. He's a 6-foot sophomore and only 140 pounds, but they say he can sling it. But if they can get pressure on him, he's not probably going to hold up with that body size. So they do have a pretty bruising running back. His name is Zach Brown, and I'm hoping that he doesn't play as well as he sings. So we'll maybe keep his toes in the sand and keep him bottled up and have a good night tonight.
Well, it's a beautiful night for football. In fact, it's been beautiful all week here in the Pacific Northwest, with temperatures easily reaching the mid to upper 80s, and in fact this weekend it's supposed to be the low 90s. So it looks like some of that summer weather that everybody was wishing for has finally appeared.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I don't have a name like Fairweather and not just appreciate that kind of stuff. So I'm excited. I love sunshine. I love sunshine and football, and this is just a great evening to be a part of high school football here in Port Orchard, Washington.
Well, the Wolves look like they are going to kick off here to start the game. The Tahoma Bears, like you said, Jim, they are coming in here to tonight's game. They defeated South Kitsap last season at Tahoma, and so the Wolves are looking to get some revenge on that loss last year. The Wolves off to a nice start. The Tahoma Bears also off to a nice start, coming out of the South Puget Sound with a 38-31 defeat over Jefferson, as they are in the South Puget Sound League North, as the Wolves are going to be kicking off here from their own 40-yard line. Doing the kicking here tonight will be number 17, Aaron Ladeau, for the South Kitsap Wolves.
And with Tahoma, they were trailing most of that game with Jefferson and ended up beating them 38-31. Then Jefferson turns around last night and just cold-cocks the Kentwood Conquerors. They beat them 42-7, which Kentwood's the perennial power in that league, so we'll see.
Jason Smith with the reception at the 5-yard line. He's looking for a wedge, and he's hit hard up front. What a hit by Anthony Williams, number 35. A great defensive stop there. And, Jim, that's the kind of thing that you want on kickoff, is to not let your opponent have any kind of a return.
Well, our goal always was to keep them inside the 20, and we reward the guys on that team with a coupon for a free cheeseburger at A&W. Over there, Rick Gehring has been a great sponsor over the years for a football team, and that's one of the rewards. You know, you can always reward a kid with food, and food motivates.
So the Bears come out with two wide receivers split, one man in the slot. The sophomore, Shane Nelson, they send a man in the motion. They're going to hand the ball off to the man sweeping off to the right side. That's number 14 for the Bears. That is Patrick Oda. And he goes in motion and takes the handoff. Doesn't get very far. In fact, he might get maybe one or two, as it's going to be second and long. In fact, it looks like he didn't get anything on the gain. It's going to be 2nd and 10. So right off the bat, the Bears are trying to run the ball.
And well, the spread offense, it's going to be a lot of work on the outside portion of this defense, it looks. And that might play into the hands of the Wolves, who pride themselves with speed. This defense is built for speed. The interior is a little bit suspect, so we'll see how they do with it.
Nelson under center. They're going to send another man. They're going to hand the ball off to the opposite side. They're going to hand the ball, and they're trying to get out to the outside. Nice tackle. Aaron Ladeau comes flying in. Also in there, number 25, Adam Gascoigne. And they got a little bit more on this carry right here. The ball carrier on that for Tahoma was number 9, Justin Ross. And they get out to the 25-yard line, where it's going to be 3rd and 3. They need to get to the 28. The South Kitsap Wolves looking to make a big stop here. Tahoma running on their first 2 offensive plays, as, like you said, Jim, they're going to be spreading the offense here. 4 wide receivers, 2 in the slot. Nelson under center sends a man in motion. They're going to hand the ball straight up on the little counter, and he comes back. Nice blocking up front. Great run up front. We're going to have to wait and see what the number was for the running back there, but what a big hole. They come back, look like a little bit of a counter play.
Well, that's actually trap blocking right there, and then Damon Funk had a great game last week against Jefferson. Evidently in the fourth quarter, he kind of ran a little bit, got him back in the game. And big hole for him right there, a little bit over pursuit, people not reading keys on the backside, and that allowed that play to happen.
Funk with a nice carry right there, and he's going to get a huge first down. There's a stoppage of play, and the officials are conferring. I didn't see a flag thrown, but the officials are talking about it. Funk got all the way down to the they haven't moved the chains yet, but the ball is placed at the 44-yard line. They're having a meeting down there. I'm not sure what that was. I couldn't see it. Did you see anything down there, Jim?
Well, right behind the officials, somebody just picked it up. I saw a beanbag, which usually is the indicator for a fumble. But I think that they're talking about it. Probably it was he'd already hit the ground, and maybe they're checking their spot. I can't tell.
Now the referee is talking with the with the Tahoma Bears players, and they're going to. I think you're right. I think they're going to put it down. They had it a couple yards farther, but they're going to mark it just short of the 40-yard line. So no penalty on the flag. They'll move the sticks, and Tahoma will have the ball at. We're going to place it just short of that 40-yard line. So no penalty on the play as they're waiting for the officials to set the ball as the Bears come out with the spread offense. Once again, Nelson takes a little three-step drop, and he's got a man out the flat. Taken out. His helmet comes off right there. The pass was complete to number 22, Jason Smith. And now I see a penalty flag that is laying on the ground. And I tell you, I did not see any kind of penalty right there. This will be interesting.
Well, I believe they're going to call tackling him by the helmet, which you can't do. You can't grab the back of it. You can't grab the face mask. And they're saying he grabbed the face mask. Coach Sigurdsson obviously not agreeing with that. The kid bent over, and our guy slid through him, Ladeau. And, I don't know about you guys. I watch a lot of football, and that's one of my concerns. I actually talked with Ed Fisher, longtime head coach here. Last summer, we went to the golf clinic, and we talked a lot. And I asked him about that because he's a helmet representative for Riddell and travels the country. And I asked him, why are these helmets coming off these pro players and college players so easily? And I don't know if that's in the design, if that's supposed to help them or what, but I think that's kind of what happened, and it just got taken out.
Well, the pass and reception was only for just a couple of yards, but with the it's a personal foul face mask, and it's going to move the ball all the way to the South Kitsap 41-yard line where the Bears will have a first down. They're going to send a man in motion. That's Justin Ross. They're going to hand the ball straight up the middle to the fullback, number 32, Bo Riggs. Big Bo Riggs, the 215-pound senior for the Bears. He barrels his way forward for a carry of 6. It's going to be 2nd and 4. So Tahoma sticking with the running game here tonight, Jim.
Well, we're seeing a little bit of early indicators, as I had mentioned before. On the perimeter, we're pretty solid, but up the middle, we've got some work to do. So we're going to have to we have a little bit of a different wrinkle in the fact that we're running a nose with a 34 behind him. And usually we have a 4-man down line look here. Here's a runner right there. Good job by the safety, Dominic Bodie.
Nice job by the Wolves on defense. They handed it off to the up back, Zach Brown, on the, not a reverse, but the counter action coming back. But he is snuffed out, and he's going to have a loss of about 5 on the play, where it's going to be it's going to be 3rd and long, 3rd and 9. Nice defense by the Wolves staying home right there.
Well, you got to read keys. That's the key in high school. It's tough, and that was a Brown formation, a wing tee, which is based on deception. They got all kinds of movement in the backfield, but if you read the guys in front, they're telling you what they're doing. I believe that's what Bodie did, and that's why he could run that alley and make that great play.
Deshaun Williams for the Bears split to the far side. 4 wide receivers in there. Nelson under center. He's going to roll out to his left, and it's batted down. Nice defense there. Number 34, that's big Caleb Nelson for the Wolves as he read it properly. Shane Nelson, the quarterback for the Bears, took one step and looked to his left, and Caleb Nelson for the Wolves just jumped right up in the air and batted that down. Nice job by Caleb Nelson.
This is my favorite team for the other guys. I always enjoyed seeing the other guys' punt team come out. I like those guys because that means we're getting the ball.
So number 54, Elijah Suka, the 6', 225-pound sophomore, will be punting the ball away. 2 men in the back for the Wolves, standing at about their 10-yard line. They're going to kick it, and it's going to go. There's a fair
Gotta let it go.
catch. They're going to let it bounce, and this is going to turn out to be a good punt.
Oh, my
it's
gosh.
It's going to go out at the 1-yard line.
And it doesn't get better for you than that right there. That was the right move by the receiver. I believe that was
that's Adam Gascoigne.
yeah, that's
on
Gascoigne
that
back
side.
there, and he's been coached to let the ball go if it's going past the 10, and that hit about the 7. But here we are in a grass field with real turf, and that ball just died and went out at the 1 for him.
Nice punt by Suka all the way down to the 1. So the South Kitsap Wolves will have their first offensive series starting at their 1-yard line. And with 8:38 remaining here in the first quarter, the Wolves will have their first offensive series, see if they can go 99 yards and get something done as they come out. They've got some experienced players coming back. At the helm is number 15, Eddie Meisner. And they have a whole host of returners coming back as they're going to hand the ball off to Dominic Bodie, and he puts his head down, spins around, but a bunch of Bears are right there to shut him down. I think the officials are going to give him a yard gain, maybe, where he gets to the 2-yard line, where it's going to be 2nd and 9. As Jim looked like the Tahoma Bears defense really swarmed hard on that play right there.
Well, they're good-sized kids. There's nobody really taller than 6'3", it doesn't look like on this roster, but all good 230-pounders and similar body types going across the board there. So I would look for the Wolves to maybe try to get outside on them a little bit too. We'll see what happens.
The Wolves in the I formation. Caleb Nelson is the fullback. Meisner with the 3-step drop, and he's got, and it looked like number 14
That's
for the
Newquist.
Wolves. That's Devin Newquist. It looked like he got hit before he caught the ball, but he still did a great job of keeping his eye on the ball and making the catch and the reception, getting down to the 8-yard line where it's going to be it'll be 3rd down, and the Wolves need 2 yards. But a really nice throw, but a better catch as the corner was right on him.
Well, you know, Vancouver College last week did a really good job on that too, and we had a couple of those plays where we were kind of getting hit as we caught, and our receivers doing a good job, but yeah, hats off to Eddie Meisner. He's putting the ball in the right places, and it's on time, and that sure does help.
3rd and 2 for the Wolves. They're going to fake the handoff. Meisner's got a man. He rolls out to his left, and he throws it out. The intended receiver was Caleb Nelson in the flat. Good coverage there by the Tahoma Bears. Number 88, Calvin Ballier, was right there on the defense, but the pass was just a little bit overthrown, but a good stop by the Bears, and it's going to be 4th down for the Wolves. So the Tahoma Bears punt on their first possession, and now the Wolves turn right around and punt on their first possession.
Well, that play got a lot of yardage for us last week as a fullback, a 3rd man out of the backfield. Puts a lot of pressure, but that looked like man coverage on behalf of the Bears, and so that was a little bit tough. They had a little stunt coming and man coverage behind it, so we'll see that one again.
They send Adam Gascoigne in motion, and they're going to kick the ball a little squibber down to the right side. Nice job by Aaron Ladeau, and it's going to bounce past the 50 and all the way down to the Tahoma Bears 36-yard line. So a great punt by Aaron Ladeau to give the Wolf defense a little extra room. But the Tahoma Bears are still going to have some good field position here, Jim, for their second offensive series.
Yeah, but you saw a little new wrinkle here. That just broke out last week, too. I didn't know they were doing it, but this is they'll overload a side, and it's usually the right side, and then they kind of rugby kick it, and it puts a lot of pressure because they got to really bring a hard rush on the front side of that. Aaron's been doing a good job because it's hard to return it. You saw how it rolled, and they gained probably another 20 yards out of that. So it did flip the field a little bit. Let's see if the Wolves can take advantage of that on defense.
With 7:06 remaining, the score is still tied at 0, and Tahoma has their second series. They're going to hand the ball off to a counter, on a counter to Damon Funk, and he goes on a little counter left off guard, but the Wolves did a nice job on defense right there, as Devin Newquist was in on the tackle along with number 55 for the Wolves. That's big Adam Knaus.
No, it's Austin Knaus.
Or excuse me, that's Austin. That's Austin Knaus. Adam is Austin's dad, who's also an assistant coach on the sideline. So good job by Austin right there. A gain of 4. It's going to be 2nd and 6. They're going to hand the ball off again to Funk. And he tries to get funky right there down the middle, and he gets down past the first down. As they've been handing the ball off to Damon Funk here a couple of times, and looks like that one was Bo Riggs on that one with the carry. So Funk and Riggs Sounds like a law firm right there. They're splitting the running duties here for the Tahoma Bears, but they're looking good up front there, especially that offensive line, Jim.
Yeah, they're like I said before, they're good sized, and one of the problems that the Wolves have right now is depth at the line position in both offense and defense. So you got to get good play out of your backers, otherwise it's going to be a long night.
Trips wide receivers. They're going to send Justin Ross in motion.
Yep,
they're going to hand the ball right up to, that's Funk one more time. And he kind of knees his way forward a little bit, a gain of about 4 on the play. And, Jim, I'm kind of inclined to say that spread offense is trying to obviously do the intent of what it is named for and spread the defense out as well so they can try and get something up front.
Well, again, you got to read keys, and what the deal is you got 2 very agile defensive ends that really got to do a good job reading keys because a lot of down blocking and stuff like that as you run that sweep. And that's exactly what happened there. And then if he over pursues, that cutback lane's there, and that's what they're trying to do there. Devin Newquist did a nice job with it.
That's Riggs with the carry right there, and he hurdles over a man. He gets down to the 25, down to the 20-yard line, brought down by Adam Gascoigne, but not until Bo Riggs gets a huge gain on the play, and the Bears are going to be knocking on the door here.
Well, the DN got up the field. See, he wasn't reading what was going on in front of him. He got up the field to hand the ball right underneath him, and there's nobody else there. So between him and that backer on that side, they just need to do a little bit better job of reading what's going on in front of them and not trying to do too much.
A huge gain by Tahoma down to the South Kitsap 21-yard line. There's 5:08 remaining here in the first quarter. Tahoma on their second offensive series. They punted after their first one. But they have the ball at the South Kitsap 21-yard line. Nelson takes a one-step drop, and he's got a man over there. Good coverage, and the ball's going to be intercepted. Aaron Ladeau with the good coverage. No, that's not Aaron Ladeau. We're looking for a number over
37.
there. Number 37
that's Bryce
for the
Broom.
Wolves. Nice job, Bryce Broom, with the interception. Great coverage there, though, by Broom on the inside as corner.
Well, 2 times Tahoma's come down here and gotten into the red zone, and 2 times they've kind of come up empty. Credit the Wolves for bending and not breaking, and great job by Bryce Broom playing inside out on his receiver and playing that like he's been coached.
Shane Nelson took one step back and threw up a little bit of a floater, but great defense right there. A good read by Bryce Broom, and he stayed home and kept the wide receiver on his outside, and he was able to go up and get the interception. So, but the Wolves are going to have their second offensive series, Jim. First time they had it at the 1-yard line. This time they get it at the 2.
Yeah, a little better now. We should be able to do some things here.
So they're going to hand the ball off to Dominic Bodie, and the Bears are right there, and he was just one step away from breaking it loose.
Boy, Bodie's worked so hard in the weight room, and he's a slight kid. He doesn't look very. I used to tease him how skinny he is, but he's actually 185 pounds, and he is very strong. And one of the things I thought was really cool about him is how many times he was hit and kept getting plus yardage, not going down on first hits. He just sinks his hips and he keeps going. And credit him, boy, he got 5 yards after that first hit.
And when he gets out in the open, watch out, because he can do some damage. So,
well, there's good genetics there. His dad played for the Broncos, and earlier for his high school career, he was with the Bremerton Knights. But there's some good genetics right there.
And he gets the handoff once again. He gets close to the first down. It was 2nd and 4 yards to go. They need to get to the 12-yard line, place it at the 11. So South Kitsap will have a 3rd and 1. But like you said, Jim, the running backs traditionally, even throughout South Kitsap high school football history, have had some excellent running backs, but they've also had some excellent offensive linemen creating holes for them up front.
Well, those kids back there carrying the ball, they definitely know where their bread is buttered, and those kids up front understand that as well. They take a lot of pride in what they do.
Meisner's going to hand the ball off to Bodie one more time. He's going to inch his way forward, and he will get the first down. They're going to get to the 13-yard line. So the Wolves are slowly but surely gaining a little bit more breathing room in the backfield there, Jim.
Yeah, the Bears there were really doing a good job because what they got was some down block and kick out by a guard. We call that skin blocking, but it's just our ice play and an isolation on the inside backer on that side. They're doing a good job of pursuing right now. So Wolves need to maintain some blocks just a little bit better, and you'll see Bodie get loose. Got Gascoigne back there now.
Adam Gascoigne in at running back, helping split the duties with Dominic Bodie, and they're going to pitch the ball to Gascoigne, and he gets a burst of speed and a nice block by Bryce Broom, who takes his man out, and Gascoigne gets a first down to the 25, but what a block by Bryce Broom on the side.
Oh, Bryce Broom's one of those kids where you talk about the size of the dog in the fight or the size of the fight in the dog. He's not a real big kid, but he's got a lot of attitude, and he doesn't mind to hit you. And he got a great block last week. They ran a very similar play. And then you saw what Gascoigne's moves are. His moves are to run you over. So you saw at the very end, he wanted to get his lick in too. The Wolves are physical. They got some kids with attitude.
South Kitsap with the 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. 3 wide receivers. They're going to pitch the ball to Gascoigne. They try to seal the outside, and he puts his head down, barrels his way forward, and then a penalty flag comes flying in from the opposite side of the field. I'm not sure what that one's going to be. Gascoigne was able to get 6 yards on the play, but Jim, I'm not sure what I saw there as a penalty.
Well, I see Philip Holt out there kind of grabbing on himself like he screwed something up, and he was the only one out there. My guess is they're going to call a hold, and that's going to come back.
Boy, that's a long. They're going to call a clip on that one. Boy, that I sure didn't see anything from that far away. The official threw his flag all the way. It was on the complete opposite side of the field, but he threw the penalty flag, which is the flag was at the 22-yard line. So
well, unfortunately, we don't have replay for this this broadcast, but I would like to see that again because it sure looked like it might have been a continuation. He's a center. And if he's hitting the guy, he's going to continue to hit him. He's been coached to block for the entire length of the play. And so if he initiated contact on the front of the kid but ended it on the back, it's supposed to be okay.
So a couple of big runs by Adam Gascoigne somewhat negated here with a clipping penalty. And the Wolves are going to have a 1st down and 23 to go. They have the ball at their own 12-yard line. They are in the I formation. 2 wide receivers are getting the ball up to Caleb Nelson straight up front on a dive play, and he's going to get 3 more on the carry, and it's going to be 2nd and long for the Wolves. But that's the kind of thing that can happen in games like this, Jim, is that usually the 2 major factors in any kind of contest at any level are penalties and turnovers, and right there a big penalty kind of hurt the Wolves a little bit.
Well, and we got the ball on a turnover, so I think you're absolutely right. Error-free, the teams that make the least mistakes obviously have a decided advantage, as shown even last week. We were very few penalties, and I don't remember, but maybe 1 or 2 turnovers.
So the Wolves come out. They have 3 wide receivers. Caleb Nelson is set in the slot. They're going to pitch the ball to Gascoigne, and he doesn't have much. And there goes Gascoigne.
He's gone.
He's at the 30. He's at the 40. He's at the 50. 1 man to beat. He's at the 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, South Kitsap. Adam Gascoigne, there's a helmet back here at the 23-yard line. Adam Gascoigne with an 80.
Ball was on the 16, so that'd be an 84-yarder.
84-yard touchdown run by Adam Gascoigne. And I'll tell you, Jim, they pitched the ball to Gascoigne out on the right side, and there was nothing but Tahoma helmets coming right at him, and then all of a sudden, Gascoigne just seemed to go right by him, and he was in for the score on a huge run.
It's a little bit of Ryan Cole-esque. Ryan Cole was real good about getting that field stretched just like that, put a foot in the ground and cut back against the grain and find a seam, and that is exactly what Gascoigne just did. You saw he was pretty much untouched. Nobody even touched him on the shoulder to go by there, and then he shows his speed. He's quite an athlete and outruns the whole secondary for the first score of the evening.
Adam Gascoigne gets the Wolves on the board for their first score with 1:16 remaining here in the first quarter of play. Adam Gascoigne with an 84-yard touchdown run as the extra point kick is up, and it is good by Aaron Ladeau. And so just like that, it was a pretty calm first couple of series by both sides. Turnover by the Bears. The Wolves, their first possession was on the 1-yard line. They ended up having to punt the ball, and then Tahoma got the ball back and threw an interception, and the Wolves got the ball at their own 2-yard line, but with a couple of big runs and then a big penalty, and then just like that, Jim, Adam Gascoigne races in from 84 yards out.
Well, that's got to be a little bit of a momentum swing in favor of the Wolves. We'll see what kind of response Tahoma has on this with the kickoff ensuing. And Aaron Ladeau, he's a pretty good kicker. He's got a chance, I think, to go on and play some college and perhaps be a wide receiver and a kicker somewhere at the next level. But this is huge now to have a good response, get good coverage by your kickoff team, pin them deep like they did before, not let them have any kind of a hope that they are going to come right back and score here. So we'll see how this works out.
So with 1:16 remaining here in the first quarter, South Kitsap gets on the board first against the Tahoma Bears. Adam Gascoigne's 84-yard touchdown run. And like you said, Jim, we'll see how Tahoma responds to that big touchdown. But, you know, one of the strengths that South Kitsap has, though, is that no matter what kind of a start you have, even if it's a slow start, South Kitsap has always been traditionally good at wearing their opponent down through all 4 quarters.
And we really like to pride ourselves in this aspect right here. Our special teams are very, very important to us, and we spend time with them every day, every practice. They get a significant amount of time. And generally, these are kids that don't get to play very much, so here they go again. We'll see how
Jason
this
Smith
works.
has the reception at the 10-yard line, and tries to get to the outside. That's Bryce Broom with the tackle near the 40. A nice return.
Late flag again.
Late flag coming in from the far side where he was downed.
Might be an inadvertent face mask, and they'll probably add another 5 yards to it.
Smith was able to get just past the 40-yard line, spotted at the 41, but it's going to be an illegal block in the back. So about a 32-yard return. We'll have to go back about another 15 because of an illegal block in the back. Oh, it's a 10-yard penalty right there. And so the Wolves get a little bit of a break right there.
Yeah, Aaron needs to do a little bit better job of fitting. I don't know if he meant to chip it quite so short, but and in the coverage, you could see kind of a hole there right away, right in the very middle. So that's something they're going to have to make sure they take care of.
So the Tahoma Bears will have their third offensive series here. It's going to be 1st and 10 at their own 33-yard line.
This is end over, so your tight end's not eligible. This is a run formation. We'll see what they do.
Justin Ross, they're going to hand the ball off straight up the middle. They have a couple of little whoopsie-doo fake handoffs here and there.
That's wing T personality right there. Lots of faking, a lot of misdirection. They're skullduggery. They don't come right at you. They're trying to fool you. So that's why as a high school kid, it's really tough because they're not as disciplined as older kids. But if you can read your keys, they'll tell you right where the ball's going to be.
The Bears get a gain of 3 on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 7 from their own 36-yard line. Again, with that spread offense, 4 wide receivers, the lone setback in the backfield. They're going to send a man in motion. They're going to hand the ball straight up, and there's a trap, and there goes Funk, and he tries to get to the outside. He breaks to the 50. 2 men take him down on the tackle. That's Adam Gascoigne and Bryce Broom on the defensive stop, but not until Damon Funk got funky once again, and he gets down to the 47-yard line. And I'll tell you, Funk has been doing some good things tonight.
Well, he had a great week last week again against Jefferson. Jefferson owned the first half, and then Funk came in and hit some home runs for him last week and did a good job. He's a good 1-2 punch with Zach Brown, evidently. But there you saw him again, kind of getting through a tackle by the DN. You got to do a good job of tackling. Got to have your face up, put it on the ball, and get some help from a backer.
First down, they're going to hand the ball straight up the middle to that's Bo Riggs, straight up the middle, barrels his way forward, taken down by Dominic Bodie and Aaron Ladeau, but not until Bo Riggs gets a huge gain down to the 22-yard line, and that will come to an end of the first quarter of play. South Kitsap leading the Tahoma Bears 7-0, and just like that, Jim, we were talking about how Tahoma would respond to the 84-yard touchdown run by Adam Gascoigne, and they have responded nicely with a couple of huge running plays.
Oh, they're right back down here on the 20 just about again. They've been already twice with no points, and so this is critical for them if they're gonna have any kind of an answer in this game, is to do something with this possession and not come away empty-handed again. But the Wolves have got to do a better job with those inside backers. They got to scrape and get to that because they're taking their outside backers and committing them to the run to turn that play inside, and then the inside people are supposed to scrape and go there and pursue and get to that ball carrier, and they're just a little bit tardy right now. That's why they're getting into our secondary.
So the South Kitsap Wolves here, we're about ready to start the second quarter of play as we are coming to you live via Wave Broadband Cable Channel Access 205 at Joe Knowles Field here on the campus of South Kitsap High School. And again, as we had stated before the game started, just a beautiful evening for high school football as the temperature is it's still very, very warm out. It's cooling down a little bit, but just a beautiful evening for high school football as the Wolves lead the Tahoma Bears 7-0. They have the ball at the South Kitsap 22-yard line, and they are threatening to score as Shane Nelson, the sophomore quarterback, is going to hand the ball off to Riggs once again. That's Big Bo Riggs, who this time he only gets a couple on the play. Mark it at the 20-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and 8, but the Tahoma Bears are getting close, getting inside that red zone of the Wolves.
I think we're starting to see some tendency here because they'll do that end over look, but there's only 2 wide receivers on the field. The tight end is actually number 64, and he's a big kid, 6'4", 241 senior, Barrett Weston, and they're using him as the hammer over there and running that little run play inside. So the Wolves are going to have to do a real good job staying low and staying tight at the line of scrimmage, keep that play from working.
They're going to send a man in motion. They hand the ball up to Bo Riggs one more time. Nice defensive stop there by the Wolves.
Yeah, that's a better job right there. You saw the inside pursuit getting there in a hurry and him getting minimal yardage, and that's kind of what they need to be able to do. Now I look to Tahoma now to maybe see if they can get outside now, try a little bit of outside, because that's the same play, which is also wing T. They'll try it on one side, and then come right back the next play and try it on another. That's what their philosophy is.
And I'm not sure what their kicking game is like, but this might be probably this is 2-down territory.
Yeah.
Getting close in here as they have the ball at the South Kitsap 17-yard line. They need to get to the 12. And
Good
he's caught in
job.
the backfield. Nice defensive stop right there. Dragged down from behind. That's number 35.
That's Anthony Williams.
Who came flying in and made the tackle from behind. No gain on the play. In fact, I think he lost one where it's going to be 4th down and 6 yards to go at the South Kitsap 18-yard line. But nice play by Anthony Williams right there.
And you see no change in personnel, so they're going to go for it. It's 4th and about 6, along 5, and expect to see the young quarterback throw the ball here, so we'll see what happens.
4th down for the Bears. They're going to send their spread offense one more time.
Right.
Trips to the far right side, send a man in motion. They're going to hand the ball up to – no! They were faked the handoff. Nice
There's
job,
Anthony Williams again, a double shot.
One more time getting in there. They faked the handoff to Bo Riggs, and Nelson kept the ball, but Williams was right there to make the stop. What a nice couple of plays there by Anthony Williams on defense.
Well, it's got to be frustrating. That offense has done a nice job of getting to the 20, but unfortunately, you got to get 20 more yards to get any points. 20 is not going to do it for you, and so now they come away empty-handed, and ultimately the Wolves have now relatively decent field position where they've started on the 1 and the 2. Now they're all the way out to the 22. So good job all around on the defensive. Again, bending, not breaking.
South Kitsap will have the ball at their own 23-yard line. It's going to be a 1st down, a great defensive stop. The Bears went for it on 4th down and didn't make it. They're going to hand the ball off straight up the middle, but he's stopped by a big pack of Bears right there, and nothing doing right there. Might have lost a couple on the play, and it's going to be 2nd and long for the Tahoma Bears. But in at quarterback is number 7. That's Kevin Watley. Watley is in for the Wolves right now, giving Eddie Meisner just a little break as there's a loss of 2 on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 12 for the Wolves. They come out with the spread, 2 wide receivers, I formation. Watley's going to fake the handoff. He's going to roll to his left. He's looking for a man. He's got his man down the field. That's number 14, Devin Newquist.
That's Devin Newquist.
45.
Got
He's
speed.
at the 30, and he's taken down at the 25-yard line. Nice throw by Watley to Newquist.
Well, I don't understand that spot, but okay, we're back out to the 26. Yeah, that's a real good job of Watley setting in there and throwing a backside post. Again, Watley getting some time as a philosophy on the Wolves sideline is to, of course, get your quarterback, who's the number 2, some good reps, as Watley probably will take this team over next year, the junior out of Marcus Whitman.
Boy, it was a great throw by Watley.
Look for a pitch here.
They send a man in motion. Caleb Nelson. They're going to hand the ball up on a counter. It's right up the middle. That looked like, is that Gascoigne right there?
That's
with the
Gascoigne
carry?
again.
Gascoigne gets the ball down to the 23-yard line.
Needs to get the ball on his outside arm, though.
It's going to be 2nd and we'll call it 7 for the Wolves. They need to get down to the 16-yard line. Nice job by the Wolves blocking up front right there.
That's a great play, but you have to maintain blocks and you can't allow penetration, and otherwise that kind of gets messed up. And penetration was fine. They didn't get penetration, so we got 3 yards, but we could have had a lot more if we just maintained blocks.
Watley fakes the
There's
handoff. He's got
pass.
a man. Nice catch by
There's
Bryce
Bryce
Broom
Broom.
at the 10-yard line. puts his head down. What a great catch by Bryce Broom, and a nice throw by Watley out in the flat. Broom gets a huge play. He had an interception earlier, makes a big play right here, and they're going to mark it down at the, looks like the 10-yard line is where he went out, as the Wolves are going to have a 1st and goal. But, boy, Bryce Broom is just everywhere tonight.
Well, and that's a great throw by Watley, because I don't really think that was that open. That looked like it was fairly well defended by the Tahoma Bears, but a good job of putting the ball right where he needed to, right on Bryce's hip, and Bryce doing a good job making sure he catches it and getting that plus yardage.
1st and 10 for the Wolves. They're going to pitch
Here
the ball
comes the pitch.
out to Gascoigne. He makes a nice cut to the inside, puts his head down. What a great move by Gascoigne. Made it look like he was going outside, went inside, gets down to the 3-yard line, a gain of 7. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 3-yard line, but a great move by Gascoigne.
Again, putting that foot in the ground and doing a little bit of a cutback and getting a little bit of over pursuit by the Bears. You know, if it's one thing for the guy to have leverage on the outside, but he needs the guys on the inside to be there for him, and they weren't there. What a great first down play when you have a 1st and 10. That's a tough one. That's a good leave for your offense now with 3 yards to go.
South Kitsap with the spread formation. They're going to pitch the ball to Dominic Bodie. Just tries to get
He's
to
going to
the
outrun
outside,
him and get
and
there.
He's going to outrun to get him. Touchdown, South Kitsap. Dominic Bodie with the 3-yard touchdown run. Now, normally, Jim, in a situation like that, we see the Wolves in a power I formation, but they spread it out, made Bodie the lone setback, pitched him the ball, and he just outran everybody.
Well, you can see that we're offsetting our fullback. He's the 3rd receiver that's out there, so it's still the I formation per se, but that fullback is out there. Now they have to honor that, and they put plus people out there, and then we can bring him back in motion and run inside, or we can leave him out there and run outside. In this case, we did that, and with Bodie's speed, it was pretty easy to get to that corner pylon and 6 more points for the Wolves.
South Kitsap with a 3-yard touchdown run by Dominic Bodie. The Wolves get on the board once again. A couple of scores right here. The kick is up, and it is good. And with 7:35 remaining, South Kitsap leads the Tahoma Bears 14-0. And a couple of big plays right here, Jim. And a couple of nice little running plays as well. And the Wolves are doing a pretty good job here, but this game is by no means over. I mean, Tahoma's holding their own.
A lot of time left, but again, I go back to Tahoma having 3 possessions that brought them down to the 20-yard line, including this last one, to come away empty, and then the Wolves turn right around and flip the field again and come down and score 2 unanswered touchdowns after Tahoma threatens 3 times. So kind of demoralizing for those kids from Maple Valley, and they're going to have to find something here before halftime if they want to have any chance at all.
Well, I was going to say, you know, they've been actually doing a really nice job of stopping South Kitsap on defense for a few plays, but they've unfortunately given up a couple of really big plays. And they're doing a nice job on offense. They actually were marching up the field, but they got within inside the red zone, and then they just couldn't get it done. So, like you said, Jim, looks like they're going to have to try and figure out a way to get it done here. It could be a long night for Tahoma.
Well, you commit a lot of guys to certain things we do. We do have counter plays for that. You know, we have that ice play. It's an isolation play on the inside backer. Everything we do is stemmed off of that, depending on who they have tackling us on those plays. And we can take advantage based on what we see them trying to do. So credit to the Wolves and the coaching staff calling those plays, because they see some things that they can take advantage of, and so far so good.
Well, South Kitsap with an 84-yard touchdown run by Adam Gascoigne and a 3-yard touchdown run by Dominic Bodie lead 14-0 as Aaron Ladeau is going to kick that ball deep into the end zone. And in high school football, you are not allowed to run the ball out from the end zone. Once it crosses that goal line, it is an automatic touchback. And the Tahoma Bears will have the ball at their own 20-yard line. But I wonder why they do that. Why don't they allow high school kids to run the ball out of the end zone?
They always like to say it's a safety rule, but who knows? But I'll tell you right there, Coach, that was 5 yards deep in the end zone. They wouldn't run that back in the NFL or college football. That's just a good kick by a high school kid right there.
So the Tahoma Bears come out 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Trips wide receiver, or 2 wide receivers, split to the far side. They send a man in motion.
Here comes Sweet.
They're going to send a little counter to number 44. That's Zach Brown, and not the singer, but the fullback. And they get the ball up, 5-yard gain just past the 25, where it'll be 2nd and 5.
Yeah, they're going to stay with what they know, and then they've had some success with that inside counter, inside trap look, and so they just got to keep doing what they do and be patient and not hope for the home run. They don't have the speed to do it. If they break those guys into the backfield, we'll catch them. So they just got to be real steady with what they're doing. Here's that Brown wing T look again.
They send a man in motion. They're going to hand it
Sweep
off
it.
in the
Here's
sweep.
sweep.
But that's number 80, Deshaun Williams with their
On the ground.
fumble.
Wolves
And,
have it.
South Kitsap is going to have the recovery, the fumble and recovery. Williams got all the way down. It was a nice carry. Looked like he just let go of the ball.
Well, I think he got hit by Caleb Nelson. It looked like Caleb hit him right on the arms with the ball and then dropped down there. And 3 Wolves right there to pounce on it. I couldn't tell who got it, but that's a great job. And there's that mistake we were talking about earlier. Turnovers and penalties. There's your first turnover or second turnover of the game by the Tahoma Bears, and it puts South Kitsap on the plus side of the 50 at the 32-yard line with a lot of time yet, 6:47 to go, and a chance for another score.
This would be tough for Tahoma if the Wolves get on the board, so we'll see how they respond defensively. They have the ball at the Tahoma 32-yard line. Eddie Meisner back in at quarterback. They have the ball to Dominic Bodie, and he just sidesteps. He's going to outrun. He's at the 10, 5.
Touchdown!
Touchdown! Touchdown, South Kitsap! Just like that, a 33-yard touchdown run, and he was almost taken down, even grabbed from behind in his jersey, but Bodie gets into the end zone.
That's what I'm telling you, though. You can't do it with one guy. He felt that. He sunk his hips. He got in the end zone. He knows how to run the ball. That's a great job by a great kid who's worked extremely hard to fill that position and the shoes that go with it, because you have said it. We have had a bevy of great tailbacks at this school, and he's just adding his name to the list.
Dominic Bodie with a 33-yard touchdown run, and the Wolves, after the turnover, the second turnover by the Tahoma Bears tonight, the first one an interception, the last one a fumble by Deshaun Williams, and the Wolves recovered at the Tahoma 33-yard line as the kick is up and good by Aaron Ladeau. The Wolves now lead 21-0 with 6:37 remaining in the first half of play. And following up on the first score of the game, an 84-yard touchdown run by Adam Gascoigne, Dominic Bodie followed up with a couple of touchdowns, a short run of 3 yards out, and now, after the second turnover by Tahoma, a 33-yard touchdown run by Dominic Bodie. And just like that, the Wolves up 21-0. But again, Jim, this is the kind of situation where I would imagine that the coaches are looking at these guys saying, hey, don't let up, and I want you to start pouring it on a little bit.
This is the part of high school, and maybe it's at every level, where you just really go on a caution against complacency. Yeah, it looks easy all of a sudden. And we know already. We watched Tahoma smacking us. We watched Tahoma move the ball up and down the field and maybe shoot themselves in the foot. You know, it's on both of them. Tahoma's got to show a little bit of resolve and come back and have some answer before halftime, and it's up to the Wolves to play steady and do their job and not give them that big play and see if they can go to halftime with a 3-touchdown lead or better.
So South Kitsap with a 21-0 lead. Dominic Bodie's second touchdown of the night, a 33-yard run after the Deshaun Williams fumble. And like you said, Jim, it looks easy, but it's not easy out there.
No, it'd be really huge again for Ladeau to kick another one in the end zone, or for them to get something that's 20 yards or inside the 20 for a return. This would be big for the Wolves at this point.
Ladeau with the kick. This one will be returned. That's Jason Smith at the 9-yard line looking for some blocking up front, and he drags a few guys forward. They're trying to rip the ball out of his hands. Nice return, though, by Tahoma, and they get all the way down to the 26-yard line. So a nice return there of 24 yards, but Tahoma's going to have to get something going here, because with 6:28 remaining and being down 21-0, Jim, you don't want to fall behind too far.
Well, they got 3/4 of the field to go, so we'll see with 6:28 to go what kind of an answer they have. Again, you got to stay steady, got to hang on to the dang ball, and see what they can get going against the Wolves. The Wolves are taking this time out, so something wasn't quite right. They're going to talk it over on defense and see if they have the right personnel out there for what they just saw. Maybe caution them against the complacency we were just talking about.
This is the kind of situation where you know, a team like Tahoma could turn right around and just one big play and boom, you're in the end zone. So Tony Davis, I know, does a really good job over at Tahoma as the head football coach. But, you know, the Wolves are looking to make a big stop here. In fact, Jim, I'm kind of thinking that the Wolves are looking to get that ball back, and they would love nothing more than to get at least one more score in before halftime.
Oh, definitely. If they can get the punt in this series or the next, in some short amount of time. But you indicated Tony Davis over there. He picked up win number 100 last season, right at the end of the season. He's a solid coach, and he's got some experience at the college level as well as a player. And, he's no slouch. These kids are well coached. They were in this situation last week with Jefferson. They were down. Jefferson owned the whole first half, and Tahoma figured it out at halftime. Again, kudos to the coaches for figuring it out with them, and then they came storming right back. So we'll see.
Well, they hand the ball off to Damon Funk, but he gets tripped up for only a gain of a couple on the play. And it's going to be second and long for Tahoma. So, like you said, though, Jim, the Wolves, they already spent one timeout, but they do have 2 timeouts remaining. And, not trying to hurry or anything, but this is the kind of situation Tahoma has to be careful. They'd like to get some yardage on this, make some advancement, because the Wolves could easily get the ball back as it's second down. Nelson rolls out to his right. He's got a man out in the flat. The pass is complete. Chased down from behind. Nice defense. Number 24, Dominic Bodie, showing some of that speed. Adam Gascoigne out there on defense as well. A nice pass reception by Pat Oda as Nelson hit Oda, but good stop by the Wolves there on D.
Well, it's a perimeter-style defense, and that looked like it had a lot of possibilities as soon as the ball left his hand and got in Oda's hands. But Wolves closed in a hurry and took what should have probably, I think, been a first down and turned it into a minimal gain of just 2 or 3 yards. So now you bring up a 3rd and 5 for the Bears.
So the Bears need a first down here, but the Wolves would love to get the ball back. They're going to have
Wolves
another split formation. Wolves like they're coming on a blitz. Nelson rolls. He drops straight back. He's looked down, flushed out of the pocket. He hits his man, and the pass is caught.
That's a good job.
That is Pat Oda once again, and he gets out of bounds. So a little bit of breathing room right there. The pass reception, Nelson to Oda. It is complete down to the 40-yard line. So Tahoma with a much-needed advance right there, Jim.
Well, that's a good job by the young quarterback of stepping up into the pocket, too, and avoiding the rush. The Wolves had a little bit of pressure, but gave him far, far too much time to find that open receiver and get that first down. So they need to do a better job now on this series. I figure they have 1 or 2 series, and we got to get the ball from them. Otherwise, they might be able to run this quarter out and do something positive on top of it. Oh, like this right here.
Just like that.
Shoot.
And there goes the big play. Gets to the outside, and he cuts back to the field. He's got just a couple of men to beat. That's Justin Ross, and he's going to go in for the touchdown. And just like that, Jim, that's what we said. A big play like that, it's going to get Tahoma right back in this game.
And you saw it started out as just a sweep play, and we had a guy there, but only one. The rest of the guys, you got to pursue, got to get there and help out and gang tackle that ball. We just didn't do a very good job right there on the perimeter. And then there's a cutback lane with over pursuit, and you see what happens.
Justin Ross with a huge touchdown run. The ball was placed at the 40-yard line. A 60-yard touchdown by Tahoma gets him right back in at Tahoma's first score here with 4:49 remaining in the first half. The extra point is up, and it is good. The extra point by David Stecker, and the junior for Tahoma, but just like that, South Kitsap, couple of 3 scores right there, and but a big 60-yard touchdown by Justin Ross, and the Tahoma Bears are well within reach here, and still a lot of time left here in this first half.
Well, lots of excitement. There you see Tahoma running up and down the field in small chunks and then coming away at nothing, and then look at him hit a home run just like that. Another big play, and make it a 2-touchdown game. But the good news is there's quite a bit of time, depending on what kind of run back we get from this kickoff receive team, that the Wolves could possibly put on another 3 or 7 points.
So, Jim, what do you, you're a former coach, longtime coach here for football. What do you tell the Wolves here in this situation if you're standing down there?
Well, to not let that bump you off your path. You guys have done a good job at this point to get to where you are. Continue to keep fighting. You know they're not going to lay down. They're not going to quit. We're not going to. We fight for every inch. That's the motto this year, and they've got to continue to do that. We're a veteran squad, and so I'm looking for them to not be daunted by that. Things are going to happen. We understand that. And what's really I'm interested to see right now is what this team does right here, this kickoff receive team, because our kickoff receive team has had some great success in the past, and we got some pretty good guys back deep receiving the ball. There's Gascoigne at the 10-yard line. And it looks like Bodie over on the other side, on the far side.
Two dangerous kickoff returners here.
Yes.
For the Wolves. They're both standing at about their Gascoigne's at the 5, and Bodie's at about the 7. They're going to try
just
and
a little
away.
chipper.
Yep, and they're going to have it there, taken by the Wolves at the 20-yard line.
I don't know where he's going.
But he goes down. That was taken by
21 is Ilya Svetkov. He's a tight end, and we got to tell Ilya that all the blocking is right in the middle, so not to go to the outside because that's where we're pushing the guys. But a solid return. We don't mind having the ball on the 35-yard line for sure.
Well, here at Joe Knowles Field on the campus of South Kitsap High School, South Kitsap leading the Tahoma Bears 21-7 on a beautiful evening for football. We do have a full moon in the sky.
Gorgeous, too.
It's just a beautiful evening, a gorgeous evening here. Eddie Meisner under center, the Wolves in the I formation. Then they're going to hand the ball off to Gascoigne on a counter, and he swung around. Boy, it darn near looked like he grabbed him by the face mask, but might have even grabbed him by the shoulder pad from the inside. And I see a penalty flag on the far side of the field, possibly an illegal formation.
Oh, we got a sideline warning against Tahoma. So they got too many guys in the box. That's what the signal will be. And it is a warning, I believe. I don't think they enforce the penalty. The next time they do it, it will be, I think, a 5 or, well, look, no, we're taking the play. It'll be a 5 or 10-yard penalty. I forget what it is. I hate that rule. But
so Adam Gascoigne with a 4-yard run. It's going to be with a 3-yard run. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Wolves. The ball is at the just inside the 40-yard line. Place it at the 39. They're going to send Caleb Nelson in motion. They're going to pitch the ball to Gascoigne once again. He gets a little bit of a seal, ducks his head down.
We got to maintain blocks better. That's just pursuit. Guys coming off blocks, you see a lot of maroon jerseys, and they're not blocking anybody at this point. So initially maybe they're on their guy, but then they're letting them go, and they just can't do that, especially when you got guys who can find cutback lanes. If you maintain blocks, these guys will get to them.
Gascoigne with a nice run, but a little bit short. It's going to be 3rd and 2. They need to get the ball to the 45, just past the 45-yard line. So a key play right here because the Wolves, with 3:40 remaining here, would like to keep the ball. They don't want to give Tahoma another chance.
Now, Tahoma's taking a little bit of our momentum, but if we can come back and do something here in this time, heading into the locker room, even if it's just getting first downs and we maintain the ball, that would be okay for us. But here's a counter pass,
and it's out into the flat. Nice job, Caleb Nelson at the 50-yard line with the reception. Gets past the 40, all the way down to the 37-yard line. Nice fake by Meisner to hit Nelson in the flat.
Well, you know, that's a rundown. That's 3rd and 3. You got Bodie back there. It's hard not to honor him. And then you put a third guy into the flat. That's a money play for the Wolves. And an easy one for Meisner. It looks good on the stats, but that's just easy. That's just pitch and catch right there and getting big yardage.
South Kitsap with the big first down play. Meisner hit Caleb Nelson, gets down to the 37. There's 3:06 remaining. The clock is running. They're going to hand the ball straight up the middle to Bryce Broom.
Get out of the way.
Got a little bit of room, and the official got in the way of him. Broom actually did a nice job trying to not run over the official, but boy, I'll tell you what, Broom hit the hole hard when he got that handoff.
Yeah, if that official's not there, I think we have another 10 yards. Bryce did try to avoid that guy and save him from some pain, because that would have been ugly for all involved right there.
That was a heck of a run by Bryce Broom, and he is just doing it all over the place. He's in at fullback. Dominant Bodie is back in at tailback. 2 wide receivers for the Wolves. The I formation. Meisner's going to hand the ball up to Bodie. Tries to get to the outside.
There he goes.
There he goes. To the outside. He runs right over his own man, but not until he gets the first down. Aaron Ladeau doing a good job blocking upfield. I think Bodie ran so fast he didn't know that he ran over his own guy.
Well, he just didn't have any place to go right there. He kind of ran out of options. The kid that Aaron was blocking had outside leverage like he's supposed to have, and there was pretty good pursuit, and Bodie felt that, and he just didn't really know where to go. So you just put your head down and get what you can get. Poor Aaron, he just gets caught in the wash.
The Wolves with a first down at the Tahoma 14-yard line with 2:10 remaining in the first half, looking to get into the board. Bryce Broom with another quick handoff straight up front, up the gut. A nice trap up front, and he gets down near the first down. They're going to put him down at the 8-yard line. He needs to get down to the 4. where it'll be 2nd and 4. But boy, I'll tell you, Broom is just hitting that hole hard.
Well, that's a good job too. That was Kirk Stanley on the trap block right there too, and that's, if I was a guard, that would be my favorite play. That or counters where I get to pull and get a running start and hit somebody. But Kirk did a nice job sealing that kid. He didn't really hash mark him, but he did a good job of hitting him on a proper side and leaving that hole for Bryce to run through.
1:30 remaining here in the half. They're going to hand the ball off to Gascoigne. He gets to the outside, puts his head down, and he's swarmed by a pack of Bears, and now a penalty flag comes flying in from the back judge.
Well, that's almost a first down. We'd be inches at this point, 3rd and inches, but I think it's going to be coming back.
I think it's going to be coming back here. And it's going to be a face mask against Tahoma.
Wow.
So the ball would normally be placed just short of the 5-yard line, but with this, it's going to be half the distance, and it'll be a 1st and goal for the Wolves deep inside.
Well, it's tough to feel with these officials because of where the flags are coming from. It's not normally the calls you would get from those guys, but well, that's in favor of the Wolves because now instead of 3rd and inches, they have 1st and goal at about the 2.5-yard line with only 1:22 to go. It would be really cool if they could use that clock all the way down to the inside the minute mark and then get their score and kick the extra point and leave nothing for the Bears to do but taking it to halftime with a 3-touchdown deficit again.
1st and goal here for the Wolves. They're going to come out in the I formation. Caleb Nelson blocking up front. Adam Gascoigne is the tailback. Meisner is going to hand the ball up to Gascoigne, and he's going to get into the end zone for the touchdown. Touchdown, South Kitsap with 55 seconds remaining, and they're right back on the board. That is Gascoigne's 2nd touchdown of the night.
Well, I believe that's your veterans right there. You got young guys with some attitude, but you got the veterans up front that kind of been in the trenches. They understand this game a little bit, and you can't flinch. Sometimes in a slugfest like this, you're going to get hit in the face. You can't flinch. You got to come back. Credit the Wolves for doing that. That's a 65-yard drive in a little over 5 minutes. Take it down, get the score, and hopefully leave Tahoma with nothing but halftime to look forward to right now.
Well, the kick is up, and it is good.
Yeah,
and
there's roughing.
There's going to be a roughing the kicker on that. The kick was up and good. The Wolves lead 28-7. But the Tahoma Bears are going to be flagged with a roughing the kicker, which will be assessed on the kickoff.
Yeah, I hope Aaron's okay because, that's a huge part of our team, too, right there, that PAT team. You can tell I coach the special teams, can't you, because I keep talking about them. But I just really appreciate what those kids do because a lot of those guys aren't the guys you see on the field play in and play out. We do try to get other kids in the game in those places, and they take a lot of pride and ownership in that. And I know that's Philip Holt that's snapping it because long snappers are the guys that get the first seat on the bus, especially on the punt team. But then you got to have a good holder. And Watley, he thinks he's 6'5" and about 280. And then of course Ladeau's got that skill to kick the ball in there, and that's just huge. That's 4 for 4 on PATs.
Well, South Kitsap with a 28-7 lead with the 2 big horses. Adam Gascoigne and Dominic Bodie, each with 2 touchdown runs here tonight. Adam Gascoigne from 84 yards and 3 yards out, and Dominic Bodie with a 3-yard touchdown run and a 33-yard touchdown strike. So the Wolves lead 28-7, but 55 seconds do remain here in the first half of play. And Jim, this is the kind of thing where you're just going to tell your guys, don't get cute and don't let them score on a big play.
No, do a good job. Stay in your lanes on this kickoff. Make sure you tackle the guy with the ball. I mean, it sounds very basic and contrite, but that's just the game, and it's an easy game, and sometimes we try to make it too hard. But here you see him enforcing the kickoff, so my expectation is Aaron should have no problem in putting a good foot on this ball and forcing them to take the ball either out of the end zone or right at the goal line and perhaps lose some field position as a result.
So South Kitsap leading 28-7 over the Tahoma Bears here at Joe Knowles Field. A beautiful, beautiful evening for high school football. The sun going down, obviously. A beautiful, bright, full moon. And the Wolves are really trying to take it to the Tahoma Bears as Aaron Ladeau getting ready to kick off. And they're going to bring this back. Whistles start flying all over the place.
The Wolves were across the line too early, I believe.
So the Wolves are going to be penalized for an offside, and they're going to make them re-kick this. place the ball back at the 35-yard line. So that might give Tahoma a little bit more room to operate here on the kickoff.
Got to do a better job. See, that's a mental error right there. That can't happen when you've already got them in a situation like you do. That you can't do that. I was going to feature a couple kids right there in the middle. 51 is Michael Beard. Number 5, Leonard Shook. A couple kids also with a little bit of attitude. You put 2 guys there, they're the wedge busters. I don't know if you've noticed there at home when you're watching the Tahoma return team set up, but they got about 4 or 5 guys in the middle of the field running shoulder to shoulder together. And an unenviable job for the faint of heart, but some guys with some attitude, and that's just what they live for. And Shook, he's another one of those kind of a smaller guy. He was a guard at 5'7" and 157, probably realized that wasn't his calling. So now he's a skill guy, but this is what he gets to do right here and add to this team, just a little bit of attitude. Let's see how he does.
So Ladeau with a big kick. It's going to go into the end zone. Wow, a bigger one than that, and Tahoma's still going to have the ball with 55 seconds left. They'll have the ball at their own 20-yard line, but what are we going to look for here, Jim, from the Wolves on defense?
Well, I think they're going to be just solid run base and keep everybody kind of deep, keep everything in front, tackle the ball inbounds. I'd be very surprised to see I was going to do that tonight, but call them Mount Tahoma. But Tahoma, I would be very surprised to see them do anything but run their inside run game. They wouldn't even run sweeps, I don't believe, but and just take what they've got and take it to halftime.
So South Kitsap with a prevent defense here. They're going to hand the
draw.
ball off to a draw.
Oh, you got to tackle.
With the big man getting out to the 30-yard line. Shoestring tackled there. Nice run. That's number 25, Damon Funk. The clock will stop here briefly so they can move the chains, but Tahoma, they still have all of their timeouts remaining as well here.
Yeah, the Wolves are down 1, but that doesn't matter to them. They want this clock to roll. But yeah, Tahoma gets to have all their timeouts. Looks like they're going to spend one right here.
And they are. That's going to be Tahoma's first timeout.
So they're going to talk to him about tackling, because you got to tackle with your feet. You can't just hit the guy and then fall to the ground and hope he's going to fall with you. You got to tackle with your feet. You got to have great pursuit. This is an attitude right here. 47 seconds. And you don't want to give up any big plays. That would be a horrible thing to go into halftime when you've dominated like you have for the most of this game.
Well, and one of the things too, Jim, is that when you get into a position like this with a lead like 28-7, but as we saw earlier, Tahoma responded well by getting a score when the Wolves were up 21-0. Then it was 21-7. Then 28-7, and you just don't want to get too relaxed here. You want to really start pouring it on. You want to make sure that you keep your opponents down, because any kind of momentum change can really make an outcome in this game.
I think it's important you just tell them what you want them to do, not telling them what you don't want them to do. Don't say things to them like, don't give up the big play, and don't line up in the neutral zone right here.
Nelson takes the snap, but there he is, and we'll see how
looks like a young player. A player hasn't been out there, but he lined up in the neutral zone on the inside receiver right there.
And it is there. It's going to be offside on the defense by the Wolves. The ball was at the 31-yard line, and now it's going to be placed at the Tahoma 36. So little things like this, you don't want to see happen.
Well, no time off the clock, and they get 5 yards. So be smart. That's what you tell them. Be smart. Do your job. Don't try to do anybody else's. Get lined up. That's about 80% of this is lining up in the right place. And then do your job. Do what you've been coached to do.
4 wide receivers for Tahoma. There's only 46
pass.
seconds left. He drops straight back Nelson's side, and there he has, and he has a man out the flat. That's Oda, and he gets to the outside. What a big hit by Bodie. Knocked him clear over into Belfair, but he still got out of bounds, and the clock is going to stop until they set the change, but he gets just short of the 50-yard line, mark it at the 49, and Tahoma's on the move.
Yeah, that's a good play for them, because that only took about 8 seconds, and it stopped the clock out of bounds, and they're at midfield already. So plenty of time. If the Wolves don't do a little bit better job of shoring up the flats, that's the job of the outside backers. They got to get there. So let's see what Tahoma's got to offer here in the last 37 seconds.
37 seconds left here. Tahoma, Nelson's going to roll to his left. He's got a man out the flat. The pass is complete to Oda one more time. Not very far on that gain. Only a gain of 2.
Yeah, 2 yards and a 7 seconds and another timeout. So all good stuff if you're a Wolves fan.
Tahoma burns their second timeout. They have 1 timeout remaining. The ball is going to be at the South Kitsap 49-yard line, but they only have 1 timeout left. But, Jim, they're going to have to either use the sidelines to try and stop the clock, or they're going to have to really hustle up and huddle up or get to the line of scrimmage while the clock gets stopped if they get a first down.
So your inside backers got to do a good job reading keys so they don't bust something up the middle on us. And the linemen just do a good job of playing with their hands and containing the quarterback, not letting him get outside. Everybody else drop into their pass coverage, tackle the ball, keep it inbounds, and Tahoma will have to spend their last timeout, and then after that, that clock's just going to keep running. That's what you're telling your kids right now in this timeout.
So Tahoma burned their second timeout. They have one remaining. 30 seconds left here in the first half, trailing South Kitsap 28-7. But they are on the move. They have the ball at the South Kitsap 49-yard line.
Wolves are in a man under two deep, so you got two deep safeties in our zone. Everybody else underneath is in man coverage, so we'll see how we do here. Once again, the
Nelson rolls to his left. He's got a
man.
He's flushed down to the pocket.
Great job.
Like
Devin Newquist, great job.
Yeah. Great job by the Wolves defense right there. Nelson brought his arm back to throw the pass, and he did a heck of a job of hanging on to that ball because the South Kitsap defense was right there. Looked like he was going to strip it. But he went down for the sack, and Tahoma, with a loss of 1 on the play, calls their third and final timeout. They'll have the ball at their own 48, so now what are they going to do?
Well, again, I think you got to be real careful if you're Tahoma because they throw a ball in the flat. The way we're covering it, that could be a pick six, go the other way. And if it were me, and I'm not always known to be very conservative, but I think with 15 seconds and I've got more than half the field to go, you run something safe, something you can hang on to, see if you can bust through the first wave of defense and get into the secondary and make something happen. Again, the Wolves are being told all that. They're going to do their jobs again. I wanted to say what a great job that was by the D-line because that was a three-man rush with Newquist coming off the edge and the other D-end, possibly Chase Lopez on the other side, who stems the quarterback so he can't come outside on this side and then allows Newquist to get to him. What a great job, but then the coverage underneath. Every guy's got to cover, and that puts a lot of pressure on that offense, this particular defense, at least against the pass.
Well, I can imagine that Tahoma's going to come out with some kind of a hurry-up offense as well.
Look for a trap right here now. I would say a trap or some handoff to the ace-back. Oh,
Nelson drops back. He's looking for a man. He has nothing, and then he looks, and he's just going to kind of throw it down. There was an intended receiver in the vicinity. That was Justin Ross, but looked like he might have even just kind of dumped it a little low. The pass is incomplete, and with 15 seconds to go, the Wolves still lead 28-7. Tahoma is going to have a 4th and 11 from their own 48-yard line.
Well, I'm not sure if the clock operator got hung up on the toggle, but I think we started that with 15-something on it. So I'm not sure how that play only went 0.3 seconds, but good job by the Wolves again. Now, again, this is weird to me, except maybe you don't want a blocked punt, but we're going to get the ball, and we're going to get it right there if they incomplete this pass or down it. And they're going to go for it
here. He drops straight back. He's got a big pass, and he's got a man down the middle. That's Deshaun Williams, who fumbled earlier, but not this time. The pass is caught, and the Bears get all the way down to the South Kitsap 24-yard line. They're going to have to hurry up. There's only 7 seconds remaining, and Nelson's going to probably try and spike the ball here to stop the clock.
Sure.
They have to wait for the chains to get set.
Well, that's unfortunate because there's 7 seconds on that clock, and I guarantee that last play before was at least that. So it's too bad they have that kind of time.
And but, they did. Boy,
this would be the end of the game, the end of the half right here, I believe. So.
And I'll tell you, it looked like for a second there that Nelson, he took the snap and he took about 3 steps back before he spiked it.
Well, all good for the Wolves. They got 4.4 seconds. Looks like the PAT field goal team's coming on. So Wolves will counter with their block team, their PAT block team. We'll see. I don't know what kind of a kicker that Tahoma has. That's all he does. He's a senior, number 3. And that's Stecker, David Stecker, 5'11", 170-pound senior.
The ball is at the 25-yard line.
It's got the distance.
Up, and it is no good.
Yeah,
it
wide
is
left.
Wide left. So a 42-yard field goal attempt is wide left. And heading into halftime, the South Kitsap Wolves lead the Tahoma Bears 28-7. A little later in the season, we'll be bringing you the full halftime performance of the South Kitsap High School Marching Band. But tonight for halftime, we want to recognize some outstanding work done by the South Kitsap High School video students. Last spring, They won 5 Northwest Region Student Emmys. So please take a look, and we'll be right back with the second half of football.
There's a quote that goes like this: all it takes for the bad side of humanity to triumph is for good men and women to do nothing. So the question that you should ask is, do you make this school a better place? Is this school safer? Are students emotionally and physically safer at this school because you are a student here?
Downtown Port Orchard was in full holiday swing as thousands gathered to kick off the holiday season during the 12th Annual Festival of Chimes and Lights. This free event offered family fun for all ages starting at noon and ending at 8 p.m. with the main events taking place in the evening. Various Bay Street businesses provided complimentary chili, cookies, cocoa, and candy canes to keep everyone warm and holiday spirits high. The Morningside Bakery even made hundreds of gingerbread men for children to decorate. When the cookies were finished, just outside the bakery and down the street, the Orchard Theater gave a free screening of the new film adaptation of author Debbie Maycomber's Call Me Mrs. Miracle. On hand to introduce the movie were the movie's producers Dan Wigatow and Caroline Moore, and also Debbie Maycomber herself, who always enjoys participating in the Festival of Chimes and Lights.
The festival downtown is such a great community thing of bringing our community together and turning on those lights. It's joyous. It's fun. It's family time. It's laughter. It's just a lot of fun to be together. Last year, they estimated 10,000 people were at Lights and Chimes and Lights, and I mean, that's the population of Port Orchard. And so people come from everywhere to celebrate that. It's become a real tradition in our town.
Another largely anticipated event was the Pooch and Purr Parade. Owners dressed their precious pets up and marched them down Bay Street in front of the large crowd. The parade consisted mostly of dogs, but there were some cats and, yes, even a rabbit. After the pets had marched down Bay Street, the crowd themselves marched on down to City Hall for the main event, the lighting of the tree. Prior to the lighting, the community was led in some carols by the mayor of Port Orchard, Larry Coppola. Finally, the clock struck 6 and the moment everyone had been waiting for had come. After the tree had been lit, the big man himself, Santa Claus, and Mrs. Claus rode in on a fire engine escorted by the South Kitsap High School Marching Band.
The thing I like best about being here was seeing Santa.
The Festival of Chimes and Lights gets bigger and better every year. It is a wonderful event that really brings the community together around the holiday season.
What I really like about the Festival of Chimes and Lights is it brings a lot of people together. It brings families together, brings people from all walks of life together in one place for one common, enjoyable evening. It's just the best of small town America to me.
This December comes a classic tale performed by SK Theater and directed by Mr. Yingling. A Christmas Carol, written by Charles Dickens in 1843, tells of the bitter and grudging Ebenezer Scrooge and his transformation after the supernatural visitations of ghosts of Christmas past, present, and yet to come.
Christmas Carol is about the spirit of Christmas. It's about giving to people that are less fortunate. It's about telling the people that you know that you love them.
The style of dancing for A Christmas Carol is English country dance, which is kind of a precursor to square dancing, a little more dignified.
With students portraying fairly complex characters, Mr. Yingling directed every single line and every emotion the students are meant to perform.
You guys are back there looking on the Cratchits. You were standing there like this, staring, and you had your hand in your pocket with a beer, basically.
I play the Ghost of Christmas Present, and the only real problem that he's faced with is just teaching Scrooge how he should act year-round, not only at Christmas time.
Every morning, stagecraft students come in to prepare the set. They paint stairs.
I'm painting stairs for A Christmas Carol.
Sweep the floor, craft props, as well as take care of lighting, makeup, set construction, and wardrobe.
I'm excited for the final production. I mean, it's coming along great so far, and I think everyone's working as hard as possible, and if they keep that up, then it's going to be a great show.
I expect a fantastic production. We have such an amazing set, and the characters are also elaborate, and there's just a lot of really great young actors.
The final expectations for the show is that every student just gave 110%, and they enjoy themselves, and they not only continue, but hopefully they encourage others to get involved.
With Stagecraft Theater, Mrs. Evans, Mr. Yingling working on the production of A Christmas Carol, the final show ought to be as uplifting and merry as written by Charles Dickens himself. A Christmas Carol hits the SK Theater this December.
Dive, being such a fast-paced sport, can look overwhelming at first, but local diver Joe Rose and his diving friends make it look easy. With their muscular strength and mental control, they excel at diving. Joe has competed at state for dive and is the current school record holder. Dive, like any sport, is physically demanding. Unlike most sports, which are aerobic, dive is an anaerobic sport.
You may not work out your muscles like intensely for long periods of time, but you work your muscles for speed, because like you have to snap down in like as fast as you can into a pike, or you have to jump off with all your leg power.
Diving is all about exploding off of the board and pushing yourself to the limit throughout the dive. Dive requires the use of many muscles.
The muscles that I work the hardest, my abs and my legs. My abs, my core.
To train their bodies, divers need to work out all of their muscles. They do different exercises, from pike-ups for their abs to lunges for their legs. What sets dive apart from other sports is the mental aspect. Dive can be a scary sport. You have to dive from extreme heights at extreme speeds, all while flipping.
10 meter, it takes 3.54 seconds to get to hit the water, and you're going 35 miles an hour.
Going up and trying a new, harder dive is no easy feat. There is a huge factor of fear. The divers can get lost in the air and open out early, causing them to smack against the water. The results can be painful. After the divers perfect their dives, they are ready for competition. In a single competition, each diver does 11 dives and is judged by 3 or more judges. The scoring system is on a 10-point scale, meaning each judge can award a maximum of 10 points per dive. But with the demanding physical and mental aspects and the complicated scoring system, is it really worth it to dive? Well, the only way to answer that is to ask, how does it feel to dive?
Amazing. Just that thrill of you could totally wipe out and it hurts like a mother, but it's amazing.
I
hero's gonna save me just in time.
Ho, ho, ho. Happy Friday, South Kitsap. It is I, your beloved Santa Claus.
And I am your beloved Kelly Wall, and today is December 17th. Hey Santa, are you sure you're the real guy? I mean, your suit is very old and authentic looking, but after that imposter yesterday, I don't know what to believe. How do I know it's the real you?
Ho, 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 Kelly. Only the real Santa Claus would be wearing flip-flops right now. It's much warmer here than the North Pole, so I like to feel the breeze between my toes.
All right, Santa, while you let your toes breathe, I'll take the first set of announcements. As I'm sure you all know, today we have early release at 10:40 a.m. for Christmas break.
So it looks like there's no snow this year, but don't forget, Santa Claus has some magic of his own.
What do you mean, Santa? Santa, you're the best! Well, South Kitsap, that brings us to the end of WTV 2010.
Ho, ho, ho! Have a holly jolly Christmas and wonderful winter break. I've been the one and only Santa Claus.
And I've been and always will be the one and only Kelly Wall. See you next year, South Kitsap.
Saturday was a star-studded evening for the students of South Kitsap High School's video production program. Earlier this year, SK was nominated for 11 Northwest Student Emmy Awards for excellence in journalism and television production. We'll tell you how much hardware they took home in just a second, but oh wait, there's King 5's Alan Schaffler. And there's Como 4's Eric Johnson. He's actually a lot shorter in person, but it was a great chance for some of our students to get professional advice on pursuing media careers after high school.
Yeah, I got shoved by Steve Poole, so that was a new experience.
Feel a little more famous now?
Yeah.
And on to the awards. This year's nominees were seniors Jacob Bilderback, Kelly Wall, Kelvin Waterman, Mandy Murphy, Rihanna Rouse, and Easton Sarter. Overall, SK took home 5 Student Emmy Awards and hopes to raise that number again next year. And even though the media professionals had nice things to say about our work, our students had one person to thank in particular, our instructor, Mr. Downham.
What do you have to say to Mr. Downham?
Don't ever, under any circumstance, shave that mustache.
We are.
Welcome back to the second half well, it's still halftime here at Joe Knowles Field on the campus of South Kitsap High School, but the second half of play is getting ready to go underway. Just a few seconds remaining here as the South Kitsap Wolves lead the Tahoma Bears. Tahoma, a 4A classification school out of the South Puget Sound North Division. coming in and trail the South Kitsap Wolves 28-7. South Kitsap and Tahoma off to a slow start each in the early part of the first quarter of this game, but then Adam Gascoigne rattled off an 84-yard touchdown run, and after that, South Kitsap kind of had the momentum going along the way. A couple more touchdown runs, from 3 yards out and 33 yards by Dominic Bodie. The Wolves had a 21-0 lead, but Tahoma came back, and they had a touchdown run of 60 yards to narrow the score to 21-7, but then the Wolves turned right around and scored another touchdown by Adam Gascoigne from 3 yards out, and that is where we stand right now, the Wolves leading Tahoma 28-7, and I'll tell you, Jim, you know, both sides are looking pretty good. It's just that the Wolves are just putting up a few more points.
Well, you know, both teams coming fresh off victories last week. Again, I'm very interested to see what Tahoma brings out of this halftime locker room, because last week against Thomas Jefferson Raiders, they were trailing most of that game. Thomas Jefferson got out of the blocks before Tahoma did, and Tahoma came roaring back in the second half, and particularly in the fourth quarter, and pulled that victory out in the jaws of defeat, as they say, the cliche for it. But they won that game 38-31 in the waning moments after being down by 21 points. They outscored Jefferson 24-7 in the second half and take that first North Division victory in the South Puget Sound. So no slouch, and the Wolves got to be guarding against that. I'm sure Coach Sigurdsson has already brought that up and warned them that they're not going to lay down, they're not going to quit, and that our kids continue to fight for every inch.
So South Kitsap warming up both sides. I tell you, what a beautiful evening for football, Jim. I can't remember a more beautiful evening for football here at South Kitsap High School.
Well, you saw that earlier shot of the mountains. I'm fortunate to have a room that gets to look at that every day. If the weather's nice, it is absolutely a $1 million view. And then we have that fire over there in the Olympic Mountains region. It's been burning for a few days and getting a little bit bigger, but unfortunately, it makes for a very beautiful skyline. The sky is just lit up red with the sun going down behind all that smoke, and it's really pretty. But I do hope to get that fire out pretty soon and save all that good timber and logging area. But we have a full moon, or just about a full moon. I think we're a day away from a full moon on top of everything else. It's just gorgeous.
And it's just it's very, very warm. The weather forecast all week and heading through Monday is just another beautiful weekend here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, in the mid to high 80s, and Sunday it's supposed to reach the low to mid 90s in some places. So we're seeing some really, really nice weather here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that our summer was a little bit on the cool side, and summer finally arrives when we're back in school. But next weekend, I am going over to the Gorge with my family and my kids who just had their birthday. I have twins that are both turning 21, and so for their birthday, we're taking them to the Zach Brown concert over there in the Gorge. And so I'm hoping this weather can hang in there for just a little bit longer so we can go enjoy that with the family.
So South Kitsap and Tahoma come out here from halftime. South Kitsap leading 28-7, shaking hands in the middle of the field. The Wolves kicked off to start the game, and now they will receive the kickoff. So, and I'll tell you, Jim, you know, momentum is everything in just about any sport, and it would be somewhat devastating in a way to Tahoma if the Wolves get the ball here and able to march down the field and get some points on the board.
Yeah, it's pretty big that that they deferred to the second half this choice and are able to take the ball on this kickoff with a 3-touchdown lead. And I agree. If the Wolves could come out and punch this one in and go up 35-7, it would look pretty dismal for the Bears out of Maple Valley.
So South Kitsap will be receiving the kickoff here. Like I said, a beautiful evening here. There was a great performance, a wonderful halftime put on by Mike Downham and the audio video production crew that we have here at South Kitsap High School. And we weren't able to see it here this evening, but there will be many more games this year. South Kitsap having 5 home games here at Joe Knowles Field this season. And the South Kitsap High School Marching Band with another nice performance here tonight. South Kitsap Marching Band coming off of a Rose Bowl performance last year, going down to the Rose Bowl parade. And so South Kitsap doing a great job there.
I'd just like to give a shout out to him, Mr. Downham and his whole WTV crew and his program, because boy, they do a good job. And you saw those Emmy Award winners, and that's a lot of accolades going to kids. But Mr. Downham runs a top-notch program here, and the kids are very lucky to have his expertise. He used to work for Como TV in Seattle, and I think there's a lot of kids that perhaps have found a niche in this communications field and maybe could go find a career in it too. I know for my son, he loved this class, and he is looking at a communications major as he's heading to Hawaii Hilo to go to college.
Well, there aren't too many high schools that can claim that they have their own local TV channel.
Yeah, that's awesome, and awesome to be able to do this live for you here in this community.
So South Kitsap, Adam Gascoigne and Dominic Bodie back deep to receive. And they're going to kick it off, and it looks like it's going to be taken by Gascoigne at about the 8-yard line. He's got some blocking up front. There goes Gascoigne, and he's going to go all the way.
He's going to do it.
They're not going to touch him. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's at the 10. 5. Touchdown, South Kitsap.
There it is, ladies and gents. That's the typical South Kitsap return. We cross our front 5 and kick out. We put a wedge in the middle, and we knock you out. And we put a skill guy that's got some afterburners in there, and he just takes off and scores us yet another touchdown, and now a 34, hopefully 35-7 lead.
Adam Gascoigne's third touchdown of the night, and this time it's a 92-yard kickoff return. And I tell you, it's some great blocking up front, but it looked like Tahoma just came down and overrode everything and allowed the blocking to create such a hole up the middle.
I do agree with you. I think there was a little seam in there to begin with, but I thought the wedge did a really nice job of exploiting that seam and making it a little bit wider. And it makes it pretty easy. I think you and I might have been able to run through there.
Well, that only took 12 seconds, and the extra point kick is up, and it is good. And just like we said, Jim, it would be somewhat devastating if the Wolves got on the board just like that, and they did with a 92-yard kickoff return by Adam Gascoigne.
Well, I'm not sure now what you're saying to them over there, except that, you just got to try to keep their heads level and get some kind of return yourself. I don't think you'd expect a home run, but maybe. But you just tell your kids, do a good job, get a good return, and let's go back to business because, we do have a whole second half. The good news for Tahoma is that only took 12 seconds. That's not a big long drive that ended up in being a touchdown. So the good news is that it took so little time that leaves them more time to get that answer. So we'll see what they've got.
Well, Tahoma is really going to have to get something going here. They're going to need to try and get some good, decent field position on this kickoff return if they do get one. But the Wolves just coming from halftime. Adam Gascoigne with a 92-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. And just like that, the Wolves are on the board and lead the Tahoma Bears 35-7.
Special teams coming into play. We've seen it a whole bunch already tonight, and it's really, really important that these guys contribute and do a good job when they get their chance on the field. As we line up for this kickoff, once again, they're going to have to do a good job of staying in their lanes, converging on the ball, and making a sure tackle so that Tahoma doesn't see any life. We got to take away their will to live here in this game and put them away early.
So South Kitsap, Aaron Ladeau getting ready to kick off from the 40-yard line. One man is back to get the kickoff. That's number 22, Jason Smith, and he's going to go straight up the middle. He's got a little bit of room. He tries to get out of a tackle, spins around, but it looked like he had a little bit of blocking up front, but the Wolves quickly sealed that hole. And but not until he gets a nice little return out to his own 28-yard line. So a little bit of breathing room right there. But
yeah, well,
like
we'll take that. That's not a bad coverage. And the kick went down to the 4, which is nice too. Wedge busters took out the wedge, so that's why they were able to converge on him right there. That could have been a lot worse. So 28-yard line, we'll take that.
And like we said, Jim, the Bears are going to have to get going something with offense here as Nelson comes out under center, and he takes one step, drop to his right. He's got a man out to the flat. The pass is intercepted.
Oh, no. Just dropped.
Excuse me. They just dropped. Thank you. And that was number 22, Jason Smith, who dropped the pass. He looked like he had the pass in his hands, but made the cardinal mistake of turning and running upfield without catching the ball first.
Yeah. Well, and then they're going to hang it all on a sophomore now, too, and this is not a big play offense, so that's going to be a lot of little short pick routes and stuff like that, and and this running game that you've already seen. I don't see him having big play capacities, but I could be wrong. Here comes a sweep.
That's Oda on the sweep around, but he's got nothing. Nice job on defense there.
That's Bryce Broom forming the corner. He doesn't make the tackle, but because he does his job, the guys that do make the tackle can do their part. But that play was made by Bryce Broom.
And the man on the tackle was number 45. That was Chase Lopez, the senior for the Wolves. So like you said, just teamwork working together right there on defense.
Yeah, that's great effort on Chase's part too, because he's at near D end, and that's an outside play. But you know, we put guys that can run at those D end positions. So if the corners do their job and come up hard like that, which is great by Bryce, that pursuit can get there and tackle those guys.
Third and long, Nelson drops back. He's flushed out of the pocket. He's got a man down the middle, and the pass is overthrown, and he's hit pretty hard. The pass is incomplete. It was intended for Deshaun Williams. It was a little bit high.
I thought that was picked. That looked to me like Gascoigne had it, but for maybe it got tipped or something. I thought that was going the other way right there.
So the Wolves have a nice stop on defense. The pass is incomplete, and it's going to be 4th and 10. So the Tahoma Bears had the ball at their own 28-yard line, and they've got 3 plays and out. And already they're going to kick the ball deep.
We should call that the Fred Astaire offense, 1-2-3 kick.
That's
like
right. And a little shanker off the side of his foot. And, it was touched by Aaron Ladeau. He was coming back. He wasn't even back to receive it. Dominic Bodie was over there on that far side, and he was trying to tell everybody to get away. But, you know, sometimes that happens when you're back in punt coverage, but you have to be able to see the ball, because that kind of thing could be, that could turn into a turnover.
Well, one of the things that you coach the deep guys to do is to run to the ball. They're the only guys that can see it. So if I know where you are and you're yelling to get away from it, we have a term for that. I won't say over the airwaves, but you run away from the sound that the guy's making as he's yelling instead of maybe trying to find the ball. You saw last week, if you watch the Huskies in Eastern Washington had that happen. One of their kids got hit on the head because the guys catching it didn't run to the ball, so he had no idea where it was. And Wolves dodge a bullet there.
Meisner in, and he's going to look
going deep on a 6 route
to Devin Newquist, and it's underthrown, and the pass is intercepted. The pass is intercepted by Jason Smith, and so just like that, the Wolves go for a deep one, and the pass is intercepted, and Tahoma will get the ball right back at their own 24. We're going to call it the 26-yard line.
Yeah, Eddie would like to have that one back, and there's Coach Sigurdsson talking to him right now on the sidelines, telling him, hey, buddy, if you're going to miss, you miss long and out of bounds, so only our guy can catch it. And Eddie knows that. He'll learn from it, and he'll do that one better the next time he gets a shot at it.
So the South Kitsap Wolves with their first turnover of the game.
And over, so we're looking at a run playoff, I would think, right here.
And Tahoma with 2 backs in the backfield. And Nelson's going to fake the pass. Roll out, flushed out of the pocket by Caleb Nelson. He dumped the ball up, and the pass is... Is it intercepted? I haven't seen a play yet. I haven't seen
incomplete.
A call.
You knocked it down. That's Stephen Pavlik with the great job of knocking it down. It's too bad he didn't catch that. But good pressure again on the outside there.
Stephen Pavlik with the nice bat down, but for a minute there, we couldn't see it. In fact, the officials are conferring with each other, but obviously it was a pat down, but we didn't see an incomplete ruling by an official out there. They just marked it down.
Well, they're early in the season, too. They got to get their legs under them as well.
So the Tahoma Bears have an incomplete pass. It's going to be 2nd and 10 from their own 26-yard line.
A little break-in tendency on that play, too. So they're trying to catch the Wolves sleeping, and they didn't do it.
Trips wide receivers. Nelson
holding the ball a long time.
And he's dancing around. He gets rid of it right as he is hit to Deshaun Williams. And he's able to inch his way forward, and he's going to have the first down. He made the catch at their own 35-yard line.
Oh, we need to get him. If you're gonna be that long in the pocket, he needs to be sacked. So great job by the young man at the quarterback for the Bears of standing in there under duress. Shane Nelson throwing that ball. You probably had it about 8 seconds right there to make that completion.
He had some really nice blocking up front, and he kind of sidestepped everybody that was flushing him out. And right as he got hit, he unloaded the ball, and Deshaun Williams caught the ball, and they get the first down at the 38-yard line, 37-yard line. They're going to hand the ball off to Big Bo Riggs, puts his head down, and he barrels his way forward, drags a few Wolves along the way, past midfield, gets all the way down into Wolf territory, mark it down at the South Kitsap 47-yard line. Nice run by Big Bo Riggs.
Well, we're big on little when we get to that level, so we got to do a good job of knocking his feet out from under him, maybe not taking him up high, because he's got a little girth on the rest of those guys back there in the secondary.
With 9:44 remaining here in the third quarter of play, Tahoma trailing South Kitsap by 35-7 score, looking to get something done. They've got this spread offense, two men in the backfield, send a man in motion. They're going to fake the handoff. Nelson looks for a man, and he's got a man wide open, and the pass is incomplete. I can't believe he overthrew his intended receiver, number 88, Calvin Ballier, and looked like there was a little bit of blown coverage right there, and Ballier was wide open.
Yeah, I think we had a safety jumping a short route, and that guy got behind us. We didn't have anybody within 10 yards. All they had to do is just play catch. Very, very huge miss for the Bears in their efforts to try to get back in this, and a great situation for the Wolves to not have to pay.
It was a great call and a great read. Ballier was wide open near the 25-yard line, but the pass was just overthrown a hair. Incomplete, 2nd and long for the Bears. They're going to hand the ball off to, that is Funk one more time, and he bounces out to the outside and sheds a couple of tacklers until he's taken down by Dominic Bodie, but not until he gains almost the complete first down. We're going to give him a gain of 9 on the play, and it's going to be 3rd down and 1, so Tahoma not out of it yet.
Well, the Wolves are coming hard off the edges, and that allows that play to have some success because they really only have to take care of the nose and the onside backer, and the rest of the guys, they almost let them just go, and you hand it off underneath them, and you get plus yardage. So got to do maybe a slow it down just a tad bit with your outside pressure, and then just keep them all inside right there.
They're going to hand the ball off to the up back. That's Big Bo Riggs, who stays on his feet, and he's still at the 20. He's at the 15, digging down at the 10-yard line. And boy, I tell you, he just barreled his way down there. Looked like he was going to go down on one knee. Nice job of keeping his balance, and he gets all the way down to the 10, where it's going to be 1st and goal for the Tahoma Bears.
Yeah, SK needs to do a better job of keeping their feet going. They're just hitting him and bouncing off. They got to wrap up, hang on, and pursue. More than one guy hitting him at once. And I see a flag. Yeah, we got a late flag here. I'm not sure what this would be, except perhaps a sideline warning against the Wolves now. So each side's got one of those. Next time it happens on either side, it's going to be a penalty.
So the Tahoma Bears, Big Bo Riggs with the nice carry here, and gets all the way down to the 10-yard line. And it looks like he might be just short. I see the markers out here.
It says on the 10 on the scoreboard, and those guys have a little bit better angle than we do. But
so it looks like it looks like Tahoma will be able to get a 1st down, but boy, that's going to be just inches.
Yes, yeah.
They still have the markers out, but they just really need 10 yards to get into the end zone, and they're going to hand it off to Riggs. And he goes off of right guard, and he doesn't get a whole lot, maybe 1 on the carry.
That's what I would do.
It's going to be 2nd and 9 for Tahoma.
That's what I would do if I was Tahoma. I just keep running that play inside until South Kitsap stops it, because right now they haven't shown that they can do that. And, they did that all through the first half to come away with no points. So I think they might keep with it, although here comes personnel changes, and Riggs is going off the field.
Well, that's what we've noticed all night, is that Tahoma is just running like crazy, and they get down into that red zone, and then it looks like they let up a little bit, but we know that they're not letting up. So
well, you got Funk in there, and they don't mind handing him the ball either. So
they're going to hand the ball
off. It's an inside handoff to the fullback.
It's to the fullback, and he's going to barrel his way forward, and he keeps his legs driving, still hit, and he gets into the end zone for the touchdown.
Zach Brown, 206 pounds, but he looked like he's about 246 pounds, barreling through the Wolves on that play.
Let's see the Zach Brown band do that when they come out on stage next week at the Gorge.
Well, my expectations are we'll be barreled over, but in a different way.
Well, Zach Brown gets in from 9 yards out, and the Tahoma Bears get into the end zone with 7:42 remaining here in the game. And but I'll tell you, Jim, Tahoma's going to have to come up. Now, is this the kind of thing here? We're getting ready for the Tahoma Bears in the point after touchdown. Is this the kind of situation? And the kick is almost blocked, but the kick is up and good. So it's 35-14 South Kitsap. But, Jim, tell us, is this the kind of situation where you might have to start going for an onside kick?
Oh, not yet. There's so much game left. We have 7:42, and it's only the 3rd quarter. We have all of the 4th quarter, and we've seen how fast both teams can score. So, once again, guarding against complacency on the Wolves side and a sense of urgency on the side of Tahoma. They just got to keep playing what they're doing, and for the Wolves, that means a good return here on the kickoff, steady offense, hang on to the ball, get it in the end zone, put another one on the board. So you keep pushing yourself away from them until finally it's just too late for them. Right now, it is not too late.
But I'll tell you, Tahoma just shows moments of brilliance, and the offensive line up front is just creating some really nice holes, and Bo Riggs and Damon Funk are just doing a nice job of gaining some big yardage here tonight.
Well, it's difficult. You know, these are non-league games. You're trying out kids in different positions. You're trying to get everybody playing time. You want to put your offense out there and give them their full arsenal of plays as well. And sometimes you might outthink yourself instead of just going, you know what, we have 3 plays that are working. We don't have to run these other 15. We'll just run these 3. So you don't get better at the other 15. And that's a thought that's in a coach's head too. So you do want to try your other stuff for the sake of your own team. Now you see that's Tahoma's onside look right there. So when they do onside, that'll be Johnny Holstaff coming right at us there with that ball kicked at 10 yards, and they're going to try and mow us over and get that ball. I bet we'll see that tonight.
Gascoigne and Bodie, and they're going to have a little
fair
switch
catch.
Pooch kick there. Oh, and he's hit. Oh, my goodness, did he get barreled? That was Bryce Broom, though. But if you're going to have anybody take that hit, it's going to be Bryce Broom, because I'll tell you what, he's one tough kid.
Okay, so they're going to coach the whole kickoff team now that once that ball's kicked and they do something like that little pooch, just like on a punt, you fair catch that, they can't touch you, and that's an unnecessary hit that you just don't have to take. Because that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to get you to get hit as you're catching it. Ball comes loose, they recover it. That's almost like an onside kick. So fair catching it's the way to go on that.
Broom was able to make the reception there on the kickoff, and but boy, did he get hit hard by the Tahoma Bears as the Wolves come out here in the split formation, the I formation. They're going to hand the ball off to Dominic Bodie, and he tries to dance his way forward. There's a good enough blocking up front, and he's almost at the first down marker. He was just kind of tiptoeing and dancing around up there, but the Bears have to be careful, because if there's any kind of an opening and Bodie gets it, he's gone.
It would really be nice if the Wolves could have a long drive. I mean, it's nice to see the long runs and the quick scores, but I really believe that it's to their advantage perhaps to run this quarter down and then score and leave them with just the fourth quarter and have a 4-touchdown lead. But that's a good job of running, because that's your line, that's your offensive line with a 10-yard surge, and they're trying to figure out if it's a first down or not, but not a bad play on first down. That's a great job by your offensive line of getting them off the ball.
Well, the officials stop play here. There's an officials timeout. They're going to measure here to see if Bodie got the first down or not.
I always wish we don't. I want it to be second in inches, so you have lots you can do here.
I think he is just short, maybe by just a few inches, so it's going to be second down. The ball is just past midfield, but the Wolves are looking to strike here. And I'll tell you, Jim, again, Tahoma's going to have to get going on defense and get a stop. And if they don't, the Wolves could get just a little bit dangerous on that offensive end.
Now, it wouldn't be unlike DJ to take a shot here, because he's got this short yardage situation. Just go ahead and throw a ball up deep and see if he can get it. They're not. They're going to run the ball instead. There he goes.
There goes Bodie. Bodie gets to the outside. They're not going to catch him. He's at the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, South Kitsap. Just like we said, Jim, right there, you need to stop him, and they couldn't.
Well, I take it back. I still like the long run. I won't lie to you. It's fun to watch a kid with that kind of talent run the ball. What a great job of blocking and maintaining blocks. But did you see him put the jets on number 22, who's right there in front of him? And no answer for that kid as Bodie just runs past him.
Dominic Bodie with a 50-yard touchdown run, his third touchdown of the night. And now that equals Adam Gascoigne's 3 touchdowns. They each have 3 touchdowns apiece, and the Wolves are on the board with 7:19 remaining here in the third quarter, and the Wolves lead 41-14 pending the extra point.
Well, we like to pride ourselves on defense, and I would like to think that at 41 points that we are at a point where our defense can hold them from getting 42. So it's looking good for the Wolves, but as I say, still 7 minutes in the third quarter and a whole fourth quarter yet to go.
The South Kitsap Wolves just got on the board again for the second time this quarter here, and the Wolves, they came out from halftime leading 28-7, and the opening second half kickoff, Adam Gascoigne just raced 92 yards for the kickoff return touchdown, and then the Wolves just scored on a 50-yard touchdown scamper by Dominic Bodie, giving 3 touchdowns to each back here tonight, both doing just a great job. And Tahoma, it's, there's still a lot of time left here in the third quarter of play, but Tahoma's really going to have to start getting something going here.
Well, it's kind of fun if you're on the kickoff team because you're getting a lot of work, a lot of playing time, getting yourself on film. So it's just fun to be on this team. It was one of my favorites, unfortunately, the one I got hurt on when I was playing high school, but I enjoyed this team a bunch. And it usually means good things. You always like to kick off.
So South Kitsap will be kicking off here. Dominic Bodie just scored on a 50-yard touchdown run, putting the Wolves ahead 42-14. 7:19 remaining here in the third quarter of play. Smith is back to receive the kick, and it's going back deep. He's trying to stay in, and he's going to. They do.
He's on the line.
Was close. I thought he was on the line, but he gets all the way forward. He's hit by a couple of Wolves. He's been getting some pretty good yardage on his kickoff returns, but boy, Jim, that sure looked like he stepped on the line.
Oh, we got some extracurriculars out there, and hopefully it's not the Wolves because we're usually pretty good about that too. And I don't know if you saw in that mix, but another helmet on the ground. It's like the fourth Tahoma helmet I've seen on the ground, not on a player. And that play, that's going against the Wolves. That's a huge mistake, if you ask me.
Well,
you don't want to be doing that at this point in the ball game.
That's the kind of thing you really don't want to see, especially from the coaching staff. You get up, you got kind of a big lead going right here, and you want your guys to maintain their composure. And they're just coming in. They're all excited. They're ready to play and hit hard. But, like you said, Jim, you just got to you got to have your head on your shoulders and make sure that you do the right thing.
Well, you're winning, and they're in trouble, and you got a decent coverage again. It's at the 28-yard line, and so we're going to have a personal foul on sportsmanlike against the Wolves. Now all of a sudden add 15 to that return, and they're in business at about the 40-yard line.
So the Tahoma Bears, they returned the ball back to about the 25-yard line. The 26-yard line, but now they're going to move that forward to the 41, where they will have very good field position here. But, Jim, Tahoma, they did a nice job. They got down into the end zone, but they're going to have to pick it up on both ends, and they can't keep swapping scores here with the Wolves.
No, and especially if the Wolves can do any kind of job of just running time. Now we want the time. We have the clock on our side. We need that clock to run. So it's really important that they do a good job of just keeping that going.
Nelson under center. He's been quarterbacking all night. They're going to send a man in motion. They're going to hand the ball up to Bo Riggs straight up the middle, and he gets to the 45-yard line. We'll call it a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6. But, all night long they've been doing a good job blocking up front, getting some good yardage.
Well, and if you're watching this at home and maybe you don't know where you're supposed to be looking, it looks like 3 different guys are getting the ball, and then they're counting on the South Kitsap defenders to be doing the same thing. Instead of reading the keys, and the keys of the linemen in the front, and particularly it's the weak guard generally in a wing T offense that dictates where the game's going. But if you're reading your keys, you'll know what guy's getting the ball here. So
Nelson's
South's
got to
be
ball
better.
off to Funk, and he sidesteps his way. He's brought down from behind. That's a good thing that he was brought down. A nice tackle there on defense by the Wolves, but that was number 51 for the Wolves. That's Michael Beard. And because I'll tell you what, Funk went left and cut back right and up the middle. And if Beard doesn't get him, he could have gone all the way.
Yeah, it looked like he might. He broke a couple tackles. Again, Wolves just falling off at his feet instead of wrapping up and keeping their feet going. And it's critical, once again, that you're just doing those little things. That's all fundamental. Has to happen, especially in these late stages of the game. Everybody's a little bit on the tired, maybe beat up side. You got to take care of business.
Tahoma comes out. They've got a first down at the South Kitsap 38-yard line. Fake the handoff. Nelson's got a man. It's the same play once again. He had his man. Oh, and he dropped it.
Oh, he went to a different kid. He went to the fullback. That's Zach Brown, he was open too, but not as open as number 80 down the middle, the guy they threw to earlier, and he missed him. Deshaun Williams looked like he was wide open, and he opted to go to the fullback, who dropped another one, Coach.
That was the same play that they ran earlier the first time. Calvin Ballier was the intended receiver.
Yeah, I think it was Ballier again. I saw the 8, and it looked like a 0, but I think you're right. It was Ballier again.
And they ran it again, and Ballier was wide open, but this time Nelson didn't even throw him the ball. You've got to be able to see wide open guys like that.
Boy, they're going to have to do some coaching up on their kids for the teams that we're going to see in the Narrows League, because they're going to see that, and they're going to exploit it if we don't shore that up.
4 wide receivers. They're going to hand the ball up to Funk, but he's hit hard right up front by a pack of Wolves. Not very much on that gain. We're going to call a gain of about 5 or 6, and it's going to be third down, but a big opportunity missed by the Tahoma Bears here with 5.5 remaining in the third quarter. And, you know, Jim, those are just the kind of opportunities you have to take advantage of.
I'd really like to see the Wolves here just slow down their outside rush just a little bit. Just slow play it, get hands on their defenders, and keep everything kind of in front of them, because that's the only stuff these guys have going on right now is those hitters up the middle. They're not going to get wide on us. They're not going to. The Wolves are just too fast.
Tahoma's going to burn their first time out of the second half here. But, you know, going back to that pass play, yes, you know, they had a wide open wide receiver. Calvin Ballier was wide open, but Zach Brown was out wide open too. And actually Nelson threw a nice ball to him, and Brown dropped it.
Well, you know, that play is made because of the fact that Tahoma keeps running up the middle and having such great success with Funk and with Brown and with you know, like Smith and some of those guys have been running in there. And so now the safeties start creeping up, the corners start creeping up, and all of a sudden you got guys behind you because you're not trusting your keys. You got to have your front three do their job, and that's why I was thinking maybe slow playing that a little bit, not rushing upfield, letting them hand it off underneath you. And your backers got to do a good job of scraping and let those guys take care of that. And if you're the safeties in the corners, you just read keys and stay back so those passes are less effective.
Yeah, I would imagine that Tahoma at film next time that they're going to be looking at those plays because, you know, you have good blocking up front. And Nelson throws a nice ball, and I tell you what, he's had all day to throw when he drops back.
And what did 2 touchdowns for them changes? How much does that change this game?
Oh, that's huge.
42-28 then all of a sudden.
So, there's going to be that's going to be offsides against illegal procedure on the Bears.
Yeah, Barrett Weston, that's their tight end guy. He's actually a tackle lined up in the tight end position. Big kid, just a little bit premature. Should be 5 yards against the Bears.
So South Kitsap, you know, they started off this drive adding a 15-yard personal foul penalty to the kickoff return, and Tahoma got a big play, and they've gotten down to the Wolves.
They called encroachment on the Wolves.
They called encroachment on the Wolves right there, and I tell you, I thought that the offense couldn't move first.
It would appear to me that they moved simultaneously, which would mean it would be on the offense, but evidently not.
So they're going to tack on another 5 yards. Instead of 3rd and 5, it's going to be 3rd and 1 if it doesn't give them the first down. Because the FAR official is looking like it, and it is. They're going to move it forward. So the ball's going to be placed at the 27-yard line. Tahoma is marching down the field here with 5:15 remaining in the first half of play, or in the second half, excuse me. Getting a couple of penalties against the Wolves. They're going to fake that out. There goes Zach Brown straight up the middle. He stays on his feet, falls forward a little bit. We're going to mark it down to the 23-yard line, a gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. So, you know, the Bears have been kind of doing that all night. They'll get a couple, 2-3 yards, maybe 5 yards here and there, and then they'll bust one open for pretty big yardage.
Well, and again, now they're in a situation. They got a lot of time left. They go in there and score. It's 42-21. And the fourth quarter, you just kind of have to hang on. But, yeah, they're getting some good mileage out of those backs in that misdirection.
You send a man in motion, and they're going to hand the ball on a sweep, on an end
good job.
sweep. That was Oda, and a quick penalty flag comes flying down here. And, Jimmy, you might think that maybe is some kind of a holding. Or
a block in the back would be my guess, because the Wolves looked real good right there. They had good relationships, good pursuit. That's a good job on Broom. He made it bounce, which is what we try to make it do, and then Gascoigne running the alley like he's supposed to, coming in and cleaning up. And so it looks like maybe I thought I saw tripping, perhaps, and that's a possibility out there in space as well. So lots of things that could have happened there.
I mean, you know, I could see, you know, tripping is an interesting penalty because, you know, I could see if a guy is intentionally, you know, sticking his foot out trying to trip
it's just
a
a
guy.
hold, though. So,
but you know, so this is a holding penalty that'll be coming back, negating a decent gain right there for the Bears.
Well, it wasn't a gain actually. They did lose yardage, but the Wolves opted to take this penalty because it's from the point of the foul, which was behind where the ball was tackled. So now Tahoma is looking at a 2nd and 20 situation versus maybe a 3rd and 10.
So the ball's at the 35-yard line, and they're going to fake the draw, or they're going to hand the ball off to a draw. Oh, my goodness, what a hit. That was Dominic Bodie, who just put his shoulder down, and that was Damon Funk.
Who he got funked himself just a little bit there.
Oh, he sure did. In fact, Bodie came up and said, let's get funky, and just barreled him backwards.
But there you go, reading keys and trusting what you have going on here, and we didn't do that. Good job, Dominic, because that could have been a lot uglier. But now look at their situation. Goes from second 20 to third in about 7 or 6. Long 6 maybe.
So the Bears
and
are
it's 4 down territory.
Oh, it sure is for the Bears. A little 3-step drop. They've got the pass out. Nice understep by Smith. That's Jason Smith with the reception.
And all of a sudden, look what we got. We got a first down Tahoma. The bad situation turned into a good situation for them. They go from a long yardage situation to that big play you had said earlier. Just a little here, a little there, and then a big chunk. And next thing you know, it's first down.
So the Tahoma Bears are knocking on the door. They get down to, they're going to mark it at the 12-yard line. Or excuse me, they're going to mark it down, we're going to call that about the 13-yard line.
Yeah, it's a 13-yard line.
And Tahoma is in business. They send 2 wide receivers to the far side. Nelson sends a man in motion. They're going to hand the ball off to Big Bo Riggs, who goes off left tackle, puts his shoulder down, and inches his way forward, crosses the 5, get it down to the 4-yard line, and close to another first down where it could be first and goal. I think he's going to be just about a yard short. It's going to be 2nd and 1. The Bears can get a first down, which would help their cause, but they'd really like to get that ball into the end zone.
It looks like the Wolves are a little bit worn down. They're just they're hanging just a little bit. I know that the D-line, they took one out just to make themselves a little stronger, actually, by putting another backer in. But right now, even though they're down by several touchdowns, Tahoma looks more powerful.
And
it's a touchdown.
They
They're
do.
in.
They hand the ball off, a quick snap right there, and the Tahoma Bears get in from about 4 yards out for the touchdown. So just like that, Tahoma's just hanging around here. But not only on offense, the offense has been doing a pretty nice job, but and the defense has been doing a pretty good job too for the Bears, but they've got to stop giving up those big plays.
Well, I guess maybe the Achilles heel of that, or what the downside of our big plays would be, is that our defense has spent a lot of time on the field, and it's starting to kind of show a little bit. And it would be, like I said earlier, a lot better for us, I believe, if we had a nice sustained drive, ate up a lot of time, and then we get another touchdown out of it. Because these quick scores, that just gives Tahoma back the ball, and then they go down and they score, and then your defense is just continually on the field.
So Tahoma gets on the board with a 4-yard touchdown run and trail South Kitsap 42-21 with 2:31 remaining here in the third quarter of play. But their defense is really going to have to come up big right here. But, Jim, we've been watching their special teams, and they've been doing they're not exactly trying to trick the Wolves, but they've been running that, they get in a tight bunch formation. And then we saw in the last one, it wasn't a squib kick, but it was like a little pooch kick. Mm-hmm. And, you have to be careful with those kinds of things because, every now and then you can get one of those things back.
And I think, any time at this point where you are at 3 touchdowns down, you have to guard against that onside kick. So you'll see this SK front 5 kind of shrink it down a little bit. Make sure these guys are going to kick it because they're all in a bunch right now, and they can kick it as soon as the referee makes it ready for play. And they'll just kick right over the top of it, much like what we do, and run over the guys for South that are trying to pick it up and maybe get a cheap onside kick that way, or chip it like they did before. But, you just got to be ready for that at this point in the game.
Well, you can see where the Wolves are being very cautious up front, being very aware that Mount
Get their hands ready,
that,
though. You need to get them off their knees. As soon as they hear that whistle,
and
get
here
the hands
they go,
off the knees.
That Tahoma is prone to maybe get a little squib kick or a little pooch kick. But they're going to need to capitalize on one of those things right there. They have to be careful about kicking it deep, too, because the last time Adam Gascoigne ran it back 92 yards, and they're going to try an onside kick, and it goes 10 yards, and I think that Tahoma's going to have the ball.
Well, that's not knowing what you're doing up front either, I don't think, because they let the ball go instead of just going and getting it. It doesn't have to go 10 yards for the defense. If the ball's coming to me, I got to go get it. I can't wait and let them get it after it goes 10 yards. I don't have to let it go 10. The offense does, or the kicking team does. Wow, looked like South dodged another bullet right there of a front 5 not knowing situation here. Coach Sigurdsson coaching them up.
Well, the officials are talking there in the middle, and it looks like they are going to give the ball to Tahoma, and Tahoma does have the ball.
Oh.
So they do get, because at first it looked like they weren't going to give it to them, but their offense is now out on the field.
Well, it sure looked like they got it, so that's what we thought originally, that South just let it go, and they went and got it, which It's unfortunate.
I think
so
the
there's
Wolves,
your defense on the field again.
I think the Wolves thought that that they didn't go 10 yards, but they sure did. So Nelson with the fake, and he's going to go on the outside. And he's
That
taken
ball's
down,
loose. That
and the
ball's
ball is
loose.
and
Scoop and
picked
score.
up by the Wolves.
Nicely done.
And they get it back on the turnover. Nelson been doing a good job all night. Had a pump fake out to the right side, and he wanted to go deep, but before he could hit the man going on the pump fake, he was hit on defense by the Wolves, fumbled the ball, and just like that, the Wolves get the ball back.
Chase Lopez in his neon shoes out there celebrating. That was his hit. Scoop and score by Newquist. He just couldn't quite get it going before he got caught. But a great play by the Wolves, and again, they withstand what could have been disaster with that onside kick, and now they're in business on the plus 38-yard line, looking good for maybe more points.
So just as we were talking about how the Wolves didn't want to get cute and have any kind of a turnover and let Tahoma back in this game, Tahoma went for the onside kick and got it, and then on the ensuing play, they fumble the ball after Nelson was hit and sacked, and the Wolves get the ball back at the 47-yard line, and they hand the ball straight up the middle.
That's Caleb Nelson.
That was Caleb Nelson straight up the middle. The ball is at the 40, just outside, we'll call it the 41-yard line, but Nelson gets the ball down to the 35. So, boy, just like that, Jim, we were talking about it earlier, penalties and turnovers, and, Tahoma's had a couple of really nice turnovers in their favor, but then they turn right around and give it back.
Well, that's the key to this whole game, and again, just, doing your job, and part of your job is hanging on to the ball. And South came with the pressure, and another thing we've been seeing, we saw their quarterback hold on to the ball that's going to get
and
picked.
The ball is intercepted. It's intercepted by Jason Smith. They ran the little fake rollout. Smith stays on his feet, and he comes back up, and he gets all out, and then just like that, another turnover. The pass was intercepted, but there is a penalty flag in the backfield, but I would imagine that was after the interception, so Tahoma should hang on to the football here.
That's unfortunate for Eddie. He had a guy, he just couldn't quite get his shoulder square to get enough on that ball to get it out to him, and he underthrew it, floated it a little bit, allowed the defense to recover and go back and get it. Yeah, but I think you're right. I think after the interception, we might have a illegal block of some sort.
The penalty flag, and it's going to be an illegal block in the back against Tahoma. And but Tahoma will maintain possession. We've had kind of a crazy series right here. Tahoma scored and got on they went on the kickoff. They went for the onside kick and got it. South Kitsap thought that they had the ball, but Tahoma did recover the onside kick. On the ensuing play, Shane Nelson for the Bears, dropped back, faked an out pass, and was hit by the defender, fumbled the ball, and the Wolves got the ball back. On the next play, the Wolves ran one play. The second play from scrimmage after the turnover, they ran the little fake rollout pass to the right, and Meisner just underthrew his receiver a little bit, and the Tahoma Bears got the interception. So what a crazy series right here.
Pretty much the equivalent of 3 turnovers in less than 2 minutes. That's unfortunate, and it's not good football. So we'll see if this doesn't shore up just a little bit here.
So Tahoma hands the ball off to Funk, and he breaks out to the outside, and he's chased down, keeps his feet moving. Wow, what a nice run by Funk. Gets past the 40-yard line, gets all the way down. The ball was at the 14-yard line, and he gets down to the 43-yard line, almost a 30-yard gain. What a great run by Funk.
Defense just has to do a better job of pursuing and getting to the ball carrier. It looked initially at that play that was going to be dealt with the way it should have been. We had all the leverage where we needed it, but then nobody came running through and made the tackle. Just kind of the bubble stayed there till he could cut back and make that nice gain.
So the Tahoma Bears are in business here. They have the ball at their own 43-yard line, getting near midfield, send a man in motion. Nelson's got a man. It's the same play, and this time he's got him. Bellier, and he drops
good
the
recovery.
ball.
Now that's a good play by Gascoigne right there. He's beat. He just puts his head down and runs, and he reads the eyes of the receiver, and it's the technique is called eyes to eyes and hands to hands. And when the receiver's hands come up, your hands come up, and you punch through the ball. And at the last minute, great job by Gascoigne of recovering on that play-action pass.
But I'll tell you, Jim, Tahoma has run that same play 3 times here tonight, and they've ran it very well.
Yeah, that's
but
their
they just
money
haven't
play.
been able to capitalize on it.
Where the Wolves have that counter pass they like to run, this seems to be the big money play for them, and that's that's 3 touchdowns right there that we've averted.
So they hand the ball off to Funk straight up the middle, and he's going to get about 4 yards on the carry. It'll be 2nd and 6, mark the ball at the 46-yard line. But, like we said, Jim, you run that play 3 times. They've run it well. Those could be easily 3 touchdowns, and 3 touchdowns, I mean, that would tie the score here right now.
This may be the last play of the half if they even get it off. They've marked it for play, and I think they will have to snap it before this quarter ends. But, yeah, this could be a very different game if Tahoma was just a little sharper.
So the Tahoma Bears doing
pass.
a nice job, and it is a little pass out to the flat. His knees were down, and the pass was complete just past midfield. And Tahoma is going to have, there's 4 seconds left remaining here in the 3rd quarter of play. And but the Tahoma Bears are going to have good field position at about the 50-yard line. And now, Jim, it's crunch time. And like we talked about earlier, one of the big successes for the South Kitsap Wolves over the years is that good conditioning program that you guys have in the football program. And this is kind of where it all starts to show up where, they traditionally wear teams down.
I certainly remind our kids of why we kick their fannies every day, and they hate it. They don't like to feel like that, but boy, when game time rolls around and they've got an extra quarter tank of gas when other people are running out, they sure appreciate that right at this point. I would say at this juncture with 12 minutes to go and us up by 3 touchdowns, that tells you that Tahoma's got to score 3 times, and we scored no time. So that will be, in my mind, a tough sell. But we've seen crazier things, so stay tuned.
Well, Tahoma has been, doing a nice job. A lot of teams look like they might, die out here, but Tahoma's been doing very well. They've got a little bit left in the tank here, and they're making this game sure interesting, even though the Wolves are enjoying a 42-21 lead right here. But I'll tell you, Tahoma is really hanging tough as they're going to start the 4th quarter of play at midfield. And the Bears need to come out here. They've been running this set all night long. They got a couple of backs, 2 wide receivers split to the near side, and there's a fumble. It looked like they were going for a quick hike there, and it didn't work. But looked like it was almost a fumble and sort of a bad snap. But Tahoma will still have the ball, and it's going to be.
I think it's a turnover on downs, Coach. That was a 4th down play, and he was trying to get a snap on a silent count. And that didn't work out so hot. That was a miscue once again by the Bears, and they don't capitalize on that short yardage situation. Now the Wolves take over, and it's not good for the Bears to do that right
Boy, I didn't see the 4th down mark right there, but they sure did do that, and the Wolves are going to take over on downs as we're going to see a few new Wolves come into play here. In at quarterback is number 7, Kevin Watley, who connected earlier with Devin Newquist on a couple, and they're going to pitch the ball to
motion on the
Dominic
fullback.
Bodie, and they will. They're going to call motion on the fullback, and that flag was thrown almost as fast as the ball was snapped. So they're going to bring it back here. It's going to be an illegal procedure play against the South Kitsap Wolves, and we're going to have a stoppage of play here as we have a Tahoma Bear down on the far side of the field.
It'd be really, again, I'll say great for the Wolves offense to have a sustained drive and give that defense a needed rest. My guess is if I were to take a look at the playlist that you'd have Tahoma with a 2-1 lead for numbers of plays run in this game over the Wolves, even though they're short end of the scoreboard. The Wolves have quick struck so many times that the defense has been on the field for a majority of this game, and it'd be nice to give them a rest here in the 4th quarter.
Well, I'll tell you, this has been one heck of a game here tonight, especially that 3rd quarter of play. We started off the kickoff of the second half. Adam Gascoigne races 92 yards for the touchdown, and then later Dominic Bodie went 50 yards. But then the Tahoma Bears come back and score, make the score 42-21. We had an interesting play where we had 3 turnovers, 2 by Tahoma and 1 by South Kitsap in less than 2 minutes of play. So, and it's nice to see that young man it looked like that was Smith for Tahoma that was down for the count, but he gets right back up on his feet, and we're glad to see that he's okay. So the officials are going to mark the ball, but there looked like there is a penalty flag, like we said earlier, and the Wolves are going to move back.
That's a huge penalty.
That's a really big penalty, so it looks like it's not going to be an illegal procedure penalty. I'm still waiting to see what the call was down
He
there.
signaled it, and I missed it. I could have swore I saw just like an illegal shift. But that is a catastrophic 15-yard penalty at least. And I did not see what the signal was.
Well, the South Kitsap Wolves will still have the ball, but deep in their own territory at their own 35-yard line as Kevin Watley comes back in at quarterback for the Wolves. Caleb Nelson's still in there at fullback, and they're going to hand the ball off to the tailback. That's number 23 for the Wolves. That's Hajan Gwynn who gets the handoff. So South Kitsap sending in just a couple of substitute players in here to get a little bit of action. Number 25, Adam Gascoigne, comes back in at tailback, though. You know, Jim, there's still enough time left in the game. You don't want possibly to maybe start substituting too much right now.
Well, you know, you're supposed to be able to go 3 deep at the tailback position. That's a counter play, though, and earlier I mentioned that play gets blown up if you allow penetration, and there was a ton of that, so it doesn't really matter who's running if there's going to be that kind of penetration on this. There's
Watley
a nice
with the fake, and it was a nice pass that was intended, a little overthrown there.
Yeah, he had a guy there. It was Chase Lopez, and he just missed him.
And Watley just overthrew him a stretch, but the pass is incomplete. But it's going to be 3rd and long, and the Wolves don't want to get too cute here because the clock stops. And with 10:45 remaining, you know, if the Wolves go for a pass play here, I want to imagine that they might actually try and run to keep that clock running, though.
Like I said, it just should be nice to give the defense a rest, and this is a pretty tough situation right now. You got 30 yards to go and 1 play to do it in. So you're probably, in all likelihood, going to be giving the ball up here unless they get a big play. I would like to see a zero route, just get the ball to the dough and let him make a play with it.
They're going to run that counter once again.
There goes.
That's hot. Is that was that Hajan
That's
Gwynn?
Gascoigne.
That's Gascoigne on
Yep.
that one, and he gains a little bit back, and they get near the we're going to call it the 38-yard line. But I think more importantly, like you even said earlier, Jim, is that the Wolves would just love for nothing more than to keep that clock running.
Well, that's the good news of that play, and that's a safe play, and that's probably why they ran it. They knew they didn't have a play that gains 30 yards. And, you know, you throw it out there, like I said, and he drops it, he stops the clock. So that's a good play. Now we get a good punt out of this thing, get a good roll, and then go play defense again.
Jake Washburn is back to receive the punt, and Ledoux gets a nice kickoff. Actually, that's Oda back to receive the kick, and it's going to take a couple of big bounces, and it's going to go all the way into the end zone. But what a heck of a kick by that went a total of 70 yards. He was about his 30-yard line when he kicked it.
Yeah, it's the ball was spotted at the 40, and that ball went in the end zone. So that is that's a 60-yard punt, but it went probably 70. You're right, but that's unfortunate. If they could have downed that inside the 10, what a great flip of the field that would have been.
Well, you see a lot more teams doing that, even in the college and the pro ranks, where they snap the ball back to the punter, and they do a little, they just kind of run around a little bit, do sort of a running kick. And but Tahoma's going to have the ball at their own 20-yard line, but they're going to have to get on the board here pretty fast as they go with the spread wide receivers. Nelson, he drops straight back, and he's got a couple of men down the middle, and he's got a wide receiver open. And that was intended for Deshaun Williams, who slaps his hands down on the ground in disgust because it hit him in a bad spot right in the hands.
Yeah, there's too much time. He had too much time to find that kid get open in the middle because the coverage wasn't that bad. But, you know, there's seams out there, and if you allow him enough time to run into those seams, you can get some completion. So I thought that was going to go off his hands and into our hands, Coach, and that would have been absolute the death penalty for Tahoma tonight.
Williams has been doing a really good job here tonight. And, you know, he's been open a few times, but pretty tough catches when you got some good defense going on. As he looks for, that looked like Smith out in the flat.
And that's okay. That's just a short gain, and clock's still running, so that's just fine.
That's not going to get you a whole lot. Mount Tahoma's got to go quite a distance here, and there's 9:37 remaining, and the clock is ticking. And you know, you got to get some action done here, and some big plays. You know, you don't have to go for it big all the time, but I'm a little bit amazed that I haven't seen any kind of a screen pass here by the Bears.
Well, you might see that or a draw. They had some success with that draw earlier, and there's almost an entire personnel change now on defense. I think a lot of number 2s are in there. I still see Bodie and Gascoigne, but it looks to me like the backers and the linemen are all different.
Ball is going to be placed at the 23-yard line. And
I didn't see who called timeout, but it looks like both teams have 2 remaining in this last part of the fourth quarter.
Well, I think that Tahoma is going to. I think it was Tahoma who called the timeout, and they're going to come out. Tony Davis, the head coach for the Tahoma Bears, is going to come out and talk to Nelson and his team, and I think they're going to probably gather a couple of plays here together to see if they can maybe get some yardage. But you know, you don't have to go deep all the time. All you got to do is get that ball down the field to a spot to where the clock stops, so they can shift the chains, and you could actually make that work for you.
Well, in the high school level and also in college, they do stop the clock to move chains. So that should be part of your arsenal when you're running your 2-minute offense. And at this point, even though there's 9 minutes to go in the game, I got to believe that Tahoma's got to be in their 2-minute set, and they got to be in a sense of urgency because they still have 3 touchdowns to make up, and now they have just a shade over 9 minutes to try and get that done. With what we've really seen, not really as a big play offense. They have one big play, but it's mostly, chunk here, chunk there. So that works for the Wolves. They're deep. Their safeties are very deep.
Nelson rolls out to his right, drops back. He's flushed out of the pocket, rolls to his left. He's got a man, fakes the pass, continues to run. He's
got to
being
tackle him
flushed
in
out,
bounds.
and
Oh,
he
they're not
does, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds where they will stop the clock.
And I think he got a first down, Coach.
And he did get a first down, so that helps right there. Good clock management by Nelson, as they're going to get out just past the 30-yard line, but more importantly, they are going to stop the clock here, and they're going to have an official's timeout where they are going to bring the chains out, and they're going to get a measurement here. It's close to the first down.
It looked from my angle like he was well beyond that, but that's too bad because that puts him in a 4th and inches. And we saw what happened to him last time they did something like that. But good job on the quarterback spot. He was getting chased by Devin Newquist, and he did a great job of avoiding that rush and getting outside contain and getting the first down. Shane Nelson showing a little savvy for just being a young sophomore.
So they had the measurement, and the Bears do get the first down. The ball is going to be placed at the 30-yard line.
And importantly, the clock has stopped.
They have 4 wide receivers. The lone setback is Funk, and they run the little counter right up the middle, and they're going to get another first down. Good run by Funk, and he gets down to the 48-yard line. The draw play right there fools them. Maybe looking like they were going to go for a pass, but they got the delay, and they got the draw right there. Good job, but the clock is running. That clock doesn't stay stopped for very long. And Tahoma, boy, very slow coming out here, getting the plays back to offense, trailing 42-21. But they are on the move, getting near midfield. Call it at the 48-yard line. They're going to send 4 wide receivers once again, trips to the far side. Nelson is under center, looking over that defense. He's going to roll out to his right. A little isolation, one-on-one flush out of pocket. Trouble behind, and he does. He is able to. Nice job. He was flushed out of the pocket. That's number 19.
Check that, 49. That's Stephen Pavlik.
Nice job by Stephen Pavlik with the big play, and like we saw there, boy, Nelson, they had the trips left, but Nelson was looking right the whole way, but Pavlik came from behind and knocked him down, even though Nelson was able to get rid of it before he was sacked.
They dodged one there. If he holds on that for half a second longer, we maybe have a fumble, certainly a sack, and the clock moving. So they do get the clock stopped with that, and it's just an incomplete pass, but it looked like Nelson took a little bit of a hit there. He's looking a little bit tentative. We have a penalty flag.
We have a penalty flag here, and it looks like they're counting
the Wolves.
The Wolves, and it looks like they may have too many players out on the field.
12. We got 12 guys on the field.
So there's 12 guys out on the field here.
Right there.
So instead of 2nd and 10, it's going to be 2nd and 5. So a little bit of a mental mistake right there. The Wolves, too many men on the field, so the ball is going to be placed at the 46-yard line for the Bears.
So how's that? We almost have a sack, and then all of a sudden it's a 5-yard gain for them.
And there's still some more players coming on the field here. Trips to the near side. Looks like they might go to the isolation. They're going to fake the pass, and they're going to hand to Funk.
Well, that's a good job right there on the defense's part, because that looks like a pass formation, and those guys in the interior just got to do their job. That's a nice job by Austin Knaus in the nose, because he's probably taking double teams all night long, and he's able to split the double team and knock the feet out of Funk.
Austin Knaus did a great job right there, stood up, gave himself a nice little clap for defensive stopping for the defensive stoppage right there. So good job by the Wolves. This key 3rd down. I think it's a couple of, probably a 2-down territory for the Bears.
No, they're not punting it, so we'll
But
be interested to see what happens.
They're going to go for the pass. It's off to Smith, and the pass is dropped. He laid it right into his hands.
That's a great pass by that kid right there. That ball's nowhere going to be caught except by 22. He short-armed it. We call those alligator arms.
Boy,
He's gotta
Nelson,
reach out and catch that.
Nelson just laid it out there for Smith, and Smith wasn't able to bring it in. And, you know, to Nelson's credit, he has thrown some really nice passes tonight. And, you know, as a wide receiver or a back, anybody, you've just got to be able to make that catch.
Well, shoot, you know, they're killing this kid. He's done his job. They just got to make some plays for him, and this is a whole different ball game. Now you're at 4th and short. I'm looking for him to run right here, a little trap or a little tackle.
And they do. They run it to Funk, and he gets straight up the middle, and he gets down to the 35-yard line where he will have the 1st down. And you called it, Jim. They were going to run that ball right up the middle.
Well, that's what they've been able to do all night, you know. And again, if I'm South, I'm thinking that way. I might just go man-to-man on the outside people and then just go for it in the middle and plug those all up. But, you know, to Tahoma's credit, they are not going away. They're still fighting, and they're still playing hard.
With getting close to 7.5 minutes remaining here in the game, Tahoma is on the drive, trailing 42-21. They're at the South Kitsap 35-yard line. Nelson drops back. He's got a man open all day to throw again, and he throws it a little bit low. I think the pass was complete. That's Oda.
Okay, that's good. Oda. That's a good completion for the Wolves because that's 2 yards, maybe 3. But more importantly, clock continues to run.
Nelson has had great pass protection all night.
Yeah, he's been rushed a few times and hit a few times, but by and large, I agree. He's had a long time to let routes develop and find open receivers. It'd be really neat if the Wolves could get some pressure, and it's a fine line because if they pressure, then they run that little underneath play that you've seen. Here's another one.
Another draw play right there to Zach Brown. He bounces his way forward, taken down by a couple of Wolves, but not until he gets past the 30, mark it down at the 29, and it's going to be 3rd down and about 5 yards to go. So Tahoma looking to get on the board here, but the officials are going to stop it here. DJ Sigurdsson was calling a timeout, so this time the Wolves call a timeout, which could be that could be a nice little break there for the Bears. So yeah, the South Kitsap Wolves lead the Tahoma Bears 42-21 as South Kitsap that burns their 2nd timeout here they have 1 left here in the game. Tahoma has 2 timeouts here, which could play into a factor. And I'll tell you, Jim, if the Bears are able to get onto the board, get into the end zone, and cut it, you know, they could get another onside kick, which they got earlier. This game is not over yet.
It's not, and again, it goes back to the motto: you fight for every inch. And 3 touchdown lead, you think with 6.5 minutes, I would think it should be a win for the Wolves, but Tahoma just keeps coming. So the defense got to show some resiliency here. They got to do a good job stopping them here, and you know they're going to have to do it again on 4th down. But I think if the Wolves can get the ball back, they should be able to salt this game away and come out with the victory.
So after the timeout, the Tahoma Bears have the ball at the South Kitsap 29-yard line. They need 5 yards to get, we'll call it 4 yards. They need to get to the 25. Nelson drops back, and he's got a man out. He does. He's got Smith, and Smith makes the catch for the touchdown. Touchdown Tahoma, and just like that, with 6:24 remaining, a big play, just like that, a 29-yard touchdown pass from that Shane Nelson to Smith. Jason Smith with the nice catch, and boy, Coach, there we go, just like we were saying.
Okay, so we got a 2-touchdown game. If this extra point is good, the Wolves very much need a clock-eating drive here after this kickoff. They need to make sure they get the kickoff first, and then they're going to have a clock-eating drive to make sure this game is theirs.
Tahoma with the 29-yard touchdown run, and there's a penalty flag.
Might have encroachment on the Wolves. It looked like that Bryce Broom might have got across early.
Now, Coach, do you still kick it right here?
I'm not sure because you put yourself in a real bind if you don't get it, because now you have to go for 2 later on. You want to get there so you can at least tie this game and send it into overtime, or go for 2 later to win it. But I'm interested to see what they do. Personally, I'd just go ahead and kick it.
I would imagine so, because then that way you would be down by just 14 points, 2 true touchdowns.
Well, if they take the penalty, then they're going to run it. I would think they'd go on offense.
Well, they're going to take the penalty here, and they're going to move it down to about the 1.5-yard line, but they're still set up in the kick formation.
Yeah, sometimes a little harder to kick it from this close. It's actually so close that it's hard to kick it. But
well, this is about as close as you can get for the extra point. And some movement up front.
Blocked.
And the kick is, it looked like it was going to be blocked, and it's good. Boy, he made it.
Boy.
In fact, the kicker even hesitated. It looked like the snap was fumbled, but the holder was able to get it down, and the kick is up and good.
Boy.
And with 6:24 remaining in the game, Tahoma gets on the board. A 29-yard touchdown pass from Shane Nelson to who was that was Jason Smith earlier. It's hard to see. We're in here in the dark because we don't want to turn the light on because it's just too hot up here in the booth. So the Tahoma Bears are going to kick off here now. Jim, I would imagine that they are going to go for an onside kick here.
I think they have to. They don't want to give, even the Wolves run 3 plays, and I would run 3 plays. They're going to use their timeouts and all that, and they need to lengthen this game. So I don't think you want to kick it off given the fact the Wolves have already run 1 back. So if you're going to do anything, you're going to chip it or you're going to do your onside package. And I would believe the Wolves will put a hands team up front. All our skill guys are up there with good hands and hopefully secure this ball. And I'm hoping they've been coached up that the ball doesn't have to go 10 yards. It can go 5 yards. It can go 1 yard. We can go get it anytime. So if I have a good beat on it, I need to get it.
So the Tahoma Bears will be kicking off here after a 29-yard touchdown pass from Shane Nelson to Jason Smith. And they pull within 2 touchdown scores of the Wolves. But not a lot of time left here. Now, the first onside kick that they ran, they actually got it back. But there's 6:24 remaining here, and this is just an onside kick that Tahoma it's a must-have situation.
Well, I'm just hoping that the Wolves learned their lesson because their first successful onside kick was more of what the Wolves didn't do more than what they did do. So if the Wolves take care of it, they see the ball on the ground, and they go get it, cover the guy up, and do a good job with it, we should be all right.
So Tahoma in that tight formation, and they're going to be coming out here again, and they're going to shift.
It's onside kick again, though. Here it goes.
Onside kick, and there they go once again.
Go get it.
It's going to bounce and bounce and bounce and bounce.
Get down, Shooky. Get down,
good job. There you go. Good job by the Wolves.
That's Leonard Shook being very veteran. That's a senior, knowing the situation, knowing we have the ball, and just getting down with it instead of trying to be a hero and running with it and having something bad happen.
I got to tell you, Jim, that was kind of an interesting onside kick because they overloaded the far left side of the field, and they did run the onside kick, but it almost looked like that nobody went after it.
Well, they the idea, I think, behind that was to beat us over there because we didn't get over there, and there was a big hole. But, yeah, you're right. It took off, and it got way down the field. He hit it too hard, but they kind of gave up on it. So good news for the Wolves. They have the ball, and they have a 2-touchdown lead. Let's see what they do with this part of the game here.
Watley stays in at quarterback. The Wolves send out another I formation, split wide receivers. Watley is going to hand the ball off to the tailback.
That's Michael Gundrum, and he's going to get nowhere.
He is not going to get anywhere. In fact, he's going to be thrown for a loss. Now, the Tahoma Bears do have 2 timeouts remaining, but they're not going to be able to let too much time run off the clock here as we're nearing 6 minutes left here in the game. But with a big loss right there, it's going to be 2nd and long for the Wolves.
I don't like seeing us take losses, doggone it. It would be nice to at least go 1 yard or 2 yards forward just to keep things in manageable positions because right now you're 2nd and long, and it's going to be hard to get a first down at this point because, they're loading up. They know we're not throwing it, so they're loading up. So you just get an attitude
come out
going.
Again. Watley's going to fake the handoff, roll out to his right. He's got a man out the
there
front.
It is.
And the
pass.
catch is made. Nice throw by Watley.
And that's Lambo. That's Anthony Lombardi on the catch. What a great kid. That's awesome for him.
Great catch by Anthony Lombardi, who doesn't get his name hasn't been called a whole lot tonight, but I'll tell you what, he comes up with a big catch right there when it was 2nd and long, and this possibly could be the game here for the Wolves here tonight. It's 3rd and short.
I don't know how many times they've gone on 2, but what a great time if Watley can get them to hold their water. And then he goes on 2 and gives them a good voice inflection. That could be a huge.
They hand the ball off to and he slips and he falls, and it looked like for a second there I thought he fumbled the ball. Good thing that he didn't, but Gundrum was the tailback once again, and looks like there was a little bit of a miscommunication on the handoff right there, but the clock does keep running. But actually, I thought I heard some whistles blowing.
Yeah, the Wolves are trying to get another guy in there at tailback just to give the other two a rest because they're playing all that defense as well. But we are now we got punt team, and we're not ready to roll.
Looks like a little bit of confusion out there, and I think that the Wolves are going to have to take maybe their third and final timeout, and they are. Little confusion on the punt team by the special teams for the Wolves. So the Wolves lead 42-28 with 4:25 remaining here in the game, but the Wolves did not convert on the third down, and they will be punting the ball away. The ball is at it's at their 45-yard line, and the Wolves just had to stop the clock here, which is a huge, huge thing for the Tahoma Bears because the clock won't start until they punt the ball away. But Aaron Ladeau has been doing a great job here tonight, kicking that ball deep and making it very difficult for the Bears to go a long distance to score.
Yeah, they haven't had a run back, so that's good, and hopefully we can do a good job. And this is the team you don't want to make a mistake with. The long snapper is the most valuable player on this team. He actually, we like to say that he gets the first seat on the bus because this team here can flip a game big time. Bad snap over his head, they scoop, they score it. Next thing you know, it's a one-touchdown ball game. So your long snapper's got to be tight. He's got to be good, and that's Eddie Meisner. Of all things, Eddie Meisner, the quarterback, is your best long snapper. And we've had guys almost make the NFL because they have that skill. Next thing you need is an athlete who can catch it. That's why it's interesting that Tahoma uses a lineman. We never will use a lineman. It'll be an athlete that we know can catch the ball. In this case, Aaron then can also kick it.
Newquist
really well.
goes in motion, and we'll see. They step it back and around. It's almost blocked. They were very, very close to blocking that, and Smith.
Oh, fair
I
catch.
thought that he called. I wasn't sure what was going on. The far side official, I guess he called for a fair catch, but he caught the ball, and the official didn't blow his whistle or do anything yet. So, but they stopped it, and the Tahoma Bears are going to have the ball at their own 15-yard line. But boy, I'll tell you, they were flirting with disaster right there as Aaron Ladeau almost had his punt blocked.
Yeah, that was pretty close, but ended up being a nice spiral, and it turned over and got some distance for him. And so, you start this possession on the 15. You got 85 yards to go and 4 minutes change to do it in, and you got to score twice.
Well, the Bears do have 2 timeouts left as Nelson rolls out, and he's looking back to his left, and he's being flushed out. He's going to take a sack.
Needed that. That's a covered sack, though. That's a great job by the defensive secondary. Picking up their guys and running with them. I think he wanted to go on a wheel route right here on the near side, and that got covered up, and then he gets sacked as a result. Great job on all kids' parts.
There's going to be a loss of 1 yard on the play, and the clock keeps running on that as well. It's going to be second and long for the Bears.
That's a disaster for them because the clock is running, and they don't want to use a timeout to stop it, evidently, so they're going to let it keep winding down. That's great if you're a Wolves fan.
3:40 to go in the game here. Split wide receivers, trips formation. Nelson looks to his left. He's looking down the middle. He's got a man. The ball
deflected.
is tipped.
Good
the ball
job.
is deflected, and it is incomplete.
Hajen Gwynn with the deflection there. That's a good job on Hajen's part, getting his hands up and in the quarterback's face, knocking that ball down.
Good defensive stop there by the Wolves, and it's going to be 3rd and 11 for the Bears. They only need 11 yards to get a first down, and if they do, they can temporarily stop that clock. But Tahoma's going to have to get something going here. All night long, Jim, we've been seeing that. Nelson has just been getting some great blocking up front, but the Wolves have done a nice job of adjusting and defensive coverage
Just
in the
being
secondary.
relentless. You got to just keep coming and do your job. Tackle them in bounds now. That's the key to this whole thing. Just tackle them in bounds. Keep the clock running. Make them use timeouts.
Nelson drops back, and he's looking down the middle. All time to throw. And
that
he
should
does.
be
that should be an intentional grounding, and it is.
That should be grounding, and it is. Yes,
Nelson had a lot of time to throw the ball, and he just couldn't find an open receiver, and he just dumped the ball right into the back of number 72, who's one of the offensive linemen. So that's going to be an intentional grounding, which is also a loss of down.
Yes.
And so now it's going to be 4th down for the Bears, and it's crunch time.
Yeah, that play had problems all around. Again, that's a good coverage. It's basically a coverage sack by the DBs. And then when Nelson tries to just get rid of it, he's trying to make a play there. He didn't get it beyond the line of scrimmage, so that makes it an illegal pass as well, or an intentional grounding. And then, of course, hitting an lineman, even though they're wide open, they're still not eligible to catch a ball.
So the Tahoma Bears are going to have a 4th and forever all the way back at about their 9-yard line. And if they don't get a first down here, the Wolves are going to take over on downs, and then all it will take is just a couple of downed knees, and the Wolves are going to be coming away with their 2nd victory of the season. So the Bears come out with split wide receivers. Nelson's going to roll to his right. He's flushed out of the pocket. There's that screen pass we talked about. Smith has the ball. Or no,
Tackling.
that's Funk.
Tackling.
And Funk, he just puts his shoulder down, stays on his feet, and he's going to get the first down all the way down to the 35-yard line.
Coach, you got to be telling them that's coming up, or that a draw or something, because they don't have a down-the-field play against this defense. That's about all they can do, so shoot. That's unfortunate.
We wondered about that. We hadn't seen any kind of a screen pass here tonight, but we just saw the first one, and it was to Funk, and he gets all the way down from the 9-yard line to the 35-yard line as they set the chains. Nelson takes a little step, dropping the passes backwards, but it's going to be incomplete.
No, I think that might have been forward. They're not marking it that way anyway. They're just calling it an incomplete forward pass.
And it sailed out of bounds, and so the pass is incomplete. It's going to be 2nd and long. The Bears only need to get to the 45-yard line. They can temporarily stop the clock. They still have 2 timeouts remaining.
You know, that play there, that was a pick route. The wide receiver went and picked on the corner, and then if they threw it in a flat to the other kid, that easily could have been a penalty against him. Not called by the officials, though.
3:04 remaining here in the game. Trips wide receivers to the near side. They're going to throw the pass to Smith, and he sidesteps a tackler but stays in bounds.
That's just all you got to do right there, Kevin Watley, is make your tackle and then tackle him in bounds. We can take all those underneath gains that they want to take because the clock just continues to roll.
And the Bears are going to have a hurry-up offense. I would think that they're going to have a couple of plays here, Coach, because even with a couple of timeouts left, 2:40 remaining here, a lot of valuable time.
Well, if they don't get it here, they're going to have to use a timeout because it's too critical.
Nelson snaps, and they get the ball outside, and snips. This time Smith finally gets out of bounds to stop the clock, but boy, some precious seconds just ran off the clock there for Tahoma.
Well, again, Wolves can let everything stay in front of them, keep everything in bounds if at all possible, and let the Bears do this all the way down the field. Hopefully not let them score, but they can do this. This is what we've seen pretty much the rest of the early part of this game.
Deshaun Williams splits to the far side of the field. He's been a primary target tonight by Nelson. We'll see if he goes in his direction, and he is. He's looking at him, and he's got the little slant, and he drops the ball again. Oh, he hit him right in the hands, and he easily could have gotten that first down, even though it is incomplete, which is somewhat of the next best thing because it does stop the clock. But, boy, that was a big play right there to not make that reception.
Well, how many drop passes have we seen tonight for the Bears that could have changed things? I don't know if that would have changed a whole lot, but it's plus yardage. The good news is the clock stops. That's just a sophomore. He's getting his experience as well.
Ball's at the 48-yard line. Trips wide receivers to the far side. Tahoma needs a big first down or a score, and he's got a man out in the flat, and he's got Deshaun Williams who makes the catch this time, and he gets past the first down marker. Tahoma, they are going to be getting and hurrying up on their offense. I would think that you'd have a couple of plays called here, and they are. They're going to hurry up to the line of scrimmage. They're going to have a first down just short of the 40. We're going to mark it at we're going to call it the 40-yard line.
We got a lot of number 2s in here right now too, so they're gaining some very valuable experience. So we're holding on to things here as fans, and we're wondering what the heck's going on. But
trips, and they throw to Smith, and Smith drops the pass. He looked like he was going to try and turn upfield before he made the reception, and he took a big stick there. Watley made a big hit on him, but Smith is able to get up, but it was still a stinger. So the Tahoma Bears are threatening here with 2:13 remaining here in the game, trailing by 2 touchdowns. They still have 2 timeouts left. They have the ball at the South Kitsap 40-yard line where it's a 2nd and 10. They need to get just short of the 30-yard line. Nelson's been doing a great job all night. 4 wide receivers, that trips formation on the near side, and this time Nelson's going to fake the pass, and he's going to go for it all down the sideline, and he overthrows his intended receiver. That time, that was Smith once again, who's been one of his primary targets here. The pass is incomplete, and it's going to be 3rd and long now.
That's Eric Burke on the coverage, and that's a pretty good job. Again, you just got to know situation, and they've been coached. This is just a zone look right now. You just stay inside out on your guy and press into the sideline. and go up inside and try and knock that ball away. That's not bad.
So the Bears come out here. It's 3rd and long. They have the ball just short of the South Kitsap 40-yard line, staying in that trips formation.
A sack would be awesome right now.
Nelson, he takes a step back, and he's got his intended receiver. That's Deshaun Williams at the 20, all the way down to the 14-yard line. He ran a nice little slant. The clock is stopped. Tahoma's coming down. They're going to try and get to the line of scrimmage. I wonder if they're going to try and maybe run a play, or would you try and down it right here?
I don't know what their situation here with they're not using any timeouts yet, and there's only 2 minutes to go. So I think I might just spike it, but maybe they've got a play called.
Nelson's under center. There's just under 2 minutes now. They're just going to go for Williams, and he's got the man out there in the flat, and he's fighting his way down to the 5-yard line, and they may have to call a timeout right here. They're not calling timeout. The clock is still running, and they're not. There we go. Now the clock's going to stop. I was going to say that they would probably have to call a timeout here. Ball is at the 5-yard, or no, they're going to call it. Where their forward advance.
I got him about the 6, just inside the 6-yard marker between the 6 and the 5. So
Nelson hit Deshaun Williams, who made the reception, and the Bears, I tell you, would help their cause if they could get into the end zone right here. But the Wolves, they don't want any scoring going on right here. They want to stop those Bears.
Well, this is, again, indicative of what Tahoma's all about, because they did this last week against Jefferson, who is probably a pretty good team given the fact they came out and waxed the Kentwood Conquerors last night, 42-7. Jefferson had them on the ropes and then let them off. They came back and won that game. So this is not new territory for them. They just did it last week. And against a young number 2 defense for South Kitsap, this is a tall order for these young men out there to stop this veteran club right here. So let's just kind of see how this plays out.
So the Tahoma Bears have 1 timeout left. They have the ball at the South Kitsap 6-yard line. They need a score here. Nelson is going to run the draw play straight up the middle, and Funk is going to just dance into the end zone. Touchdown Tahoma with 1:39 remaining here in the game, pending the extra point. I'll tell you, Jim, this extra point is important.
Big importance, and then so is the ensuing kickoff, because you know what's coming. It's got to be an onside kick, 1:39 to go, 1 timeout. So if South has the ball, they're just going to run the clock out, and that'll be your ball game. So pivotal PAT and an ensuing onside kick.
So the extra point kick is up, and it is good. And so with 1:39 remaining here in the game, the Tahoma Bears have fought back from a 42-14 deficit and now trail South Kitsap 42-35, and Tahoma has 2 timeouts, or excuse me, they have 1 timeout remaining.
Okay, so you're all wondering what's going on here. How come we're letting them get this close? Why are we leaving the number 2s in there, letting them get in there and score? It's a couple things. Number one is your ones have been out there on both sides of the ball the whole game. And number 2 is, if you're not going to take care of your backup guys in non-league games, when are they ever going to see time? They need to get in there and get their time too, so they can get themselves some experience and get some film time, so they can be critiqued and get made to get better. So when the games do count in the standings, you've got some personnel. And right now, we know our depth is a little bit on the shaky side, so they're trying to create depth in this situation and still win a ball game. So at this point now, you got a hands team on again. You're going to see an onside kick to the far side like you saw before. South has to come up with the ball, so then we can go to victory formation and win this game and have all kinds of good positive things to deal with these kids.
Tahoma Bears going for the onside kick, 1:39 remaining, trailing 42-35 in a very close game. They're overloading the far left side of the field. Tahoma's going to go for the onside kick. They do have 1 timeout remaining.
Be smart. Go get it. If you got a chance to go get it.
There goes the big kick.
There you are.
And they got it. Good job by the up men for the Wolves. And that was a little bit of a better kick, sort of a hard line drive going in there. But nice job by the Wolves to recover that ball.
That's Devin Newquist. He's a talented young man, and he's got good athleticism. He plays guard on the basketball team, and so he's up front there for one reason. That's because he's got hands and he can catch that ball and take care of it.
And so the Wolves are going to come out here. They have the ball at their own, just short of midfield. We're going to call it the 49-yard line. The Tahoma Bears went for the onside kick and did not get it.
Looks like your number one offense coming out to run victory formation. And the Bears will use their last timeout, and then it should be over after that.
So the South Kitsap Wolves look like they're going to be on their way to their second victory of the season. Eddie Meisner's in there. He takes the snap, takes a couple of steps backwards, and they're just going to let the clock run out here. And the Tahoma Bears, I don't even know if they're going to be using their, I think that they are now. They're going to stop it right here. Tahoma's going to call their third and final timeout. But with 1:34 remaining, South Kitsap leading 42-35. All they need now is a couple of knees, and the South's going to go to 2-0.
Well, I was just going to say the only thing that they can hope for is a center exchange issue. And they did have a number 2 center. Cullen Becker was in there, but they just, if you just saw that change right there, that's the number 1 center going back in. Because the only hope they have at this point is to have some kind of a mishap between the center and quarterback exchange, and then they can get the ball back. Wolves would be good here to just take care of this and let the clock run out.
So South Kitsap has the ball with 1:34 remaining. Tahoma just called their third and final timeout. They have no timeouts remaining, and all they need are a couple of snaps here and to hang on to that ball, and South Kitsap will be on their way to their second victory of the season, which they do. And that was second down right there. And they're going to let the clock run down.
There might be just a little too much time to get this done. We may end up having to punt one time here. But credit to Coach Sigurdsson and his staff. You know, they're 2-0. This is going to be the second win of the season, the young season for them, and their first, home win here. But last year they only won 3 total, so already they're on the cusp of improving on last year's record. And I know this team's got bigger aspirations than that. So South Puget Sound is a great league, and we know we get great competition out of there, and so this is a good win for the Wolves, and again, a lot of participants, a lot of guys on camera, so they go into films and get evaluated and build some depth, and all that should help us out for the league season that's about to follow.
Well, the Wolves took a knee, and it's now 4th down, but there's still plenty of time. I don't know if they can actually let the clock run out. We'll have to see what they're going to try and do here. They may have to snap it, and it looks like Coach Sigurdsson is telling Aaron Ladeau to, if they do snap it, to maybe run around a little bit or get some kind of another rolling punt kick like he's been doing all night. Either that or you take the
penalty. The official in the far end down here is throwing his flag because he had his hand up and marked that there's inside 5 seconds. So now we take the penalty. Should have the punt team on there, and I'm not sure we have enough guys on. Let me see here. But the punt team should be on the field, take care of the ball. Don't get it blocked. That would be about the biggest disaster that could happen. Get the punt off, cover it, and be done with this game.
So Aaron Ladeau is going to go back to get the punt here, and Tahoma might just come after this one trying to block it. And but if the Wolves can get it away and try and run more time off the clock, they should come away with the victory. They do. They snap it back, and there goes the punt, and it's almost
good
blocked.
Punt. You got it to turn over.
Really
That's
good.
huge.
And Smith, and he kind of jukes and jives, and he's staying on his feet. And I think they're darn near close, but the clock is not over yet. There's still 2.3 seconds left here. And Jim, can you say Hail Mary?
Well, that's what's going to happen, but I think I'm going to say what Dandy Don Meredith used to say way back in the day on Monday Night Football. Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Turn out the lights, the party's over, until we pass this way again. I think it's over.
Dandy Don couldn't have done it better himself.
Yeah, the poor guy, he's not alive anymore, but he was a lot of fun to listen to.
Well, it's at the end here, and the Wolves still lead 42-35. There's 2.3 seconds left remaining in the game, and barring some wild and crazy reminiscing event in history, such as the Stanford-Cal game, Tahoma's going to go for it right here, and they have a big pass play, and it's caught by Deshaun Williams, who goes for the old hook and ladder, and he tries to throw the pass backwards, but he's going to be taken down. It's not going to, the ball is fumbled. They're going to have it, and the play is going to be over.
They're whistling it dead. Game over.
And the game is over, and the South Kitsap Wolves are going to come away with a nice victory here tonight, a 42-35 victory over the Tahoma Bears and go to 2-0.
Well, they sure made it interesting because, you know, at 42-21 even, you think should be over. But credit the Bears. A good job again coming out and playing all 48 minutes and giving the Wolves a good run for their money. Credit the Wolves for fighting for every inch and doing a great job of winning a ball game and playing a lot of kids. That's really cool on both sides. So good job, good high school game, and a good victory for the Wolves.
Well, we would sure want to thank you for joining us here tonight at South Kitsap High School, Joe Knowles Field, on a beautiful evening for high school football. And we'd also like to thank the students of the video production program here at South Kitsap who made this television program possible. But we can't forget to thank the man in charge, Mr. Mike Downham, who does a great job with our video production crew.
Those guys are nails. Great job by all the crew, and it's a lot of fun tonight.
Well, again, the final score, South Kitsap 42 and Tahoma 35. We will be back with the next home game, again live here on SKTV Channel 205 on September 23rd against the Shelton High Climbers. And I would like to thank Jim Fairweather for joining me here in the booth tonight. Jim, you did a great job.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
And we hope to see you in the booth again here on another football game night. But once again, the South Kitsap Wolves defeat the Tahoma Bears 42-35, and we'll see you on September 23rd. I'm Darren Bowden, and have a great evening.